All right, it's 6 p.m., so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Brandt,
Yes.
Dean,
Here.
Gaston, here, Tom,
Yes.
Edmund,
Yep.
Master at Arms.
Observe with me a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted on the lobby entrance of the Crawford Public Library. It's also available in pamphlet form, and if you follow the link listed here within our agenda. Number 5 will bring us to consent agenda. We've just got 3 items tonight. First is approve the June 29th, 2026 special meeting. Second, approve the Park Board's recommendation for a new board member. It's David Vandercook. And 3, approve Golf Board's recommendation for a new board member, Trevor Youngie.
I would like to pull line C out for discussion, if we could. But other than that, I would move to approve line A and B in the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay. Approve A and B, and we'll go to move to discuss C. Sorry, let's roll call on that first.
From,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gaston.
Yes. Thank you.
We were at the golf board meeting here, and they asked about Trevor because he's only been a member. He has technically been a member for 2 years, but they have not been in subsequent years. And it says in the bylaws that they have to be a member for 2 years. He was a member last year, he's a member this year. Everybody wants him on board, but we don't wanna go past or go beyond the bylaws.
Sure, does it say consecutive though? It doesn't have that.
I haven't seen it, I looked to find it, I couldn't find it, so.
Nobody else applied.
They've had a couple, yes. That was the only hiccup. I mean, he was on the 23, and then he was on the 25, and he's on this year again.
Well, let's just take no action, we'll look at it and see.
This would be different, okay.
Okay, we'll move on. Reports, Park and Cemetery.
So the park board met the 1st of July. They approved David as our new park board member. We are so excited to have him. We look forward to the 4th of July, and you know, we talked about parking a little bit, and I was down at the park and I watched, and it seemed like the sheriff's deputies were keeping that lane pretty well open, and so it didn't feel like anybody needed to be policing things, and it was pretty smooth. Everything looked really good. Tree grant, we told you we were part of a community tree grant, and we're gonna be starting that one up with Doak Nickerson, who's a retired now, but was a forester with the Nebraska, state of Nebraska's Forest Service. And he will be doing a whole bunch of stuff with us. So we're gonna meet Thursday morning at 9 o'clock down at the park and start by identifying maybe where our priorities for removing some of the dead trees are, and then thinking about how we will put new trees back in. So, also I wanted to let you know that the White River Trail, they have, we told you that they've got a $100,000 development grant, and they are starting with the progress on working with the company that's helping us with that development grant tomorrow. So we'll get to looking at what kinds of development we want to do and how to get it going. The pool committee, good news, we broke the $50,000 mark for raised funds. So that was kind of a big point of our meeting here last night. We will be meeting with a guy from the Associated Pool Supplies out of North Dakota, who actually was the company that built our pool, Thursday morning before we meet for the trees. We have, if you were watching the piles of dirt at the pool, so they all kind of went back where they should be. So the leaks have been bypassed at this point. So the next thing to do is for us to test how well that leak process has been working. So we'll fill the pool before we ever put cement back in there, so that we can tell that it's the leaks are good to go. We will be doing that in the next couple of weeks. It will take us a little bit to get the sides of the pool and the bottom of the pool clean and painted and ready to go to put more water in there. So it's really exciting. So otherwise, I'd like to thank everybody for all the generous support you've had. We've had volunteer help, we've had financial support, we've had just all kinds of things people have donated towards our pool. So thank you guys very much. This has been a big thing for us. So any questions on park board?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the trees, that's also gonna take care of, there's a lot of dead trees in the city right away around town.
Yes.
Okay.
And so Mayor Grant will be there, and we've talked a little bit about it, but those are probably our biggest priorities, especially on the main pathways. But yes, so rather than the park, we've been taking care of trees a lot, and so yes, there are still some that need some work, that we haven't spent as much time, I think, in those right-of-way trees. And so we need to give them some love too. And for everyone that we put out, take out, we will put another back. So, yep.
And I have another question,
Mhm.
or more of a comment. Any idea why we have $1,000 electric bill for the cemetery? We just signed a warrant, a $10,000 warrant for electricity for citywide, and that is outrageous. I've never seen it.
You
That
want
high.
water?
The only thing I can think of is the water pumps, but other than that, nobody brought that to my attention, so I'll look into that.
Okay, that's a big, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big chunk out of the park, or the, the budget for,
That's huge, yeah.
so I just wanna let you know.
Well,
that's
thank
it
you
on.
for pulling it forward, and we will get on it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank you. Library.
Everybody have a pretty nice and concise report for us tonight. June was a wonderful month for the library, with 555 patronages and visits. And we had 36 uses of our computer lab and 342 materials circulated. So I will move right on to upcoming events. We're kind of reaching the back half of the summer reading program, but story times continue through July at 10 a.m. in the park on Wednesdays. And so the next one will be tomorrow at 10. The next Unearthed presentation will take place Thursday, July 23rd at 4 p.m. They'll be here at the library. Crochet Knitting Club continues on Friday the 24th at 1:30. It's a really fun, casual group that meets and shares project ideas and what they're working on. The movie night that will have the summer reading program theme will be Friday, July 24th at 5 p.m. in the fire hall, so long as they're not busy. But we're going to be showing Jurassic World Rebirth, which is the most recent one. So if you're new to the series or you enjoy the franchise, it's a great one to kind of jump in on, and it's good for families as well. And then lastly, the end of program party will be July 31st from 2 to 4 p.m. And that one's gonna be a big shindig with snacks and drinks and games and prize drawings to celebrate all the reading that was accomplished over the summer. But otherwise, this summer really is a summer of ongoing efforts. So the summer reading program currently has 28 participants, and we've had very enthusiastic showings to our events, and I'm excited to have some of that featured in the paper here soon. And the internship that the Nebraska Library Commission has funded is over halfway through, and
and that's been going really well. It's been really exciting and fun to work with a young person and expose them to different elements of librarianship and have their help with different projects and things. The library improvement grant that we were awarded to replace our computers, the configuration of those machines is trucking along nice and steady. We'll probably be trickling out those machines one at a time, so that we can ensure a nice seamless transition without any gaps in service there. And then lastly, major efforts are being made to prepare training, video references, and written operating procedures in preparation for my time away from the library. So I'd like to conclude my report with many thanks to the community members and the volunteers who have helped accomplish a lot of the goals that I have for the library. All your contributions of time, supplies, and labor mean the world to me, and they make a huge impact on our communities. I'm very grateful for that. But unless there's any questions for me, that's my report. Thanks.
Okay, and golf?
Yeah, I stepped in as a golf intern on July 6th, and then I grabbed the wrong stupid book and all my notes are down. So I'm trying to do this off of memory. It wasn't a lot. Most of it was getting ready for the, I think they've got another meeting August 6th, getting ready for the budget meeting. They're replacing some chairs. They got some chairs in bad shape, so they're replacing some chairs out on the patio. They had a venue this weekend. I think they're pretty booked. I don't remember what they got for the rest of August. So I had all that stuff written down and I grabbed the wrong book, so I apologize. The next meeting is July 6th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you.
August 6th, thank you, not July 6th.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to ordinances and resolutions. Number six, discuss, approve, disapprove resolution 2026-18, authorizing the sale of the old city fire hall at a silent public auction for use as a commercial building, providing commerce to the city of Crawford.
With a floor of $12,000.
Correct. Any questions, concerns, comments?
I would like to see a public auction on this, honestly. We have enough interest at it. I'm open to discussion. I think I can get somebody to come in here to auction it off for a reasonable amount. But it's up to everybody else. I mean, silent auction, we got what, 30 days on a silent auction?
No, we do it that day. You just come in, it's kinda like a courthouse sale, we have no pad, you write your name and you bid.
So do you ever get to make a second bid on it?
Yeah, you leave it open for an hour. So if I bid, then you can bid, then I can bid.
Okay, it's not a
There's
one-time
no
bid.
collar.
Okay, that I'm okay with that, if that's the case. I didn't know that they could do
No,
that.
it's just, there's no auctioneer.
Auctioneer, just
So
open
it'd
for an
be
hour.
similar to like a silent auction benefit where they've got silent
Yeah,
auction items
just
on a
the way
table and then you've got an open time and
okay.
whoever
So
writes.
Okay.
That's how we handle this sale.
That I'm good with, I'm good with.
Only other thing I need is a date in August that you wanna do this. We gotta advertise it for three weeks. So next week.
21st, 28th, 4th would be the earliest we could put it on. Is that right? Cause today's the 14th, so 21st, 28th, and then 4th would be
Best
Fourth would be this
day of the week.
Right. Right, so then we could do it the day after,
Or
or?
do it the day after, or you could do it, yeah, whatever day you guys want to set. When did we do that? Weekend day, maybe the night?
I don't know, I don't remember, but that's what I was kinda thinking, is they do it on a weekend when more people can get there.
The earliest weekend you could do it is a Saturday, August 8th. If you wanna wait.
Okay, you do this at the courthouse then?
No, we'll just do it, we'll do it in the building. Or, actually, I put it in City Hall.
City Hall, and you come in and
Yeah.
submit your bid?
Yeah, City Hall building.
But then we need to
Who's going?
have training there then.
Right.
So would it be better
We could do it on
a Friday?
we do this for them?
Do an hour on the seventh.
Starting at,
Friday at one.
The notice, I've got it set up to one PM.
So if someone is interested, do they have to give you the information of what they're gonna do with it to make sure it
That's gonna be a little stickier because we can't be prejudicial to buyers. The hope is it's somebody that's gonna use it for, again, commerce is what's in there. Not as far as I thought I could. 1 hour, starting at 1 o'clock on whatever day you use. And we'll notice this, we have to notice it,
Right.
so.
I'm good with the 7th of August.
Jane, would that work for you? That Friday afternoon?
We only do 1 hour.
Did you say there's a minimum bid?
12,500.
I didn't hear exactly what you said.
Right, my hands full.
Is that all?
City reserves the right to reject any and all bids,
And
and waive any
it'll
informality.
be a 10% deposit on sale day to the winning bidder. Then we have to go through our remonstrance process, which is 30 days. If people object, they can file, do a petition to object the sale. If I think 1/3 of the registered voters or the voters in the last election sign the petition, then the sale goes away. Nobody said that does that, we close as soon after that as we can.
Is there any other questions?
You want to set a date, time for showing, or
Okay.
leave it open?
I think showings could be by appointment, I don't think it needs to be, I don't think we're gonna have that many that we need to have it, but is that something that we have written in here at all, Adam? or
No, but that just can be arranged, we can
Put that down?
put that in the notice, I guess.
Well, I move to accept, resolution number 2026-18, set the date at August 7th at 1 PM at City, Hall. Minimum amount of 12,500, be a silent auction. Am I missing anything here?
The notice again will say most everything
Yeah,
that's in this
notice, yeah.
resolution.
So this will be for 3 weeks, it'll be fine.
Okay, motion by Fromm, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, roll call? Fromm?
Yes.
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 Thank you. New business, number 7, take a moment in memory to recognize Terry Hagen. His term as mayor and honor his dedicated service to the city of Crawford. I know Terry was mayor when we first moved to town, and we got a chance to kind of get to know him pretty quickly. He reached out to us and was of course very friendly, and we sent him Christmas cards for quite some time, so I know that if I had such a big impact and was here in such a short time, I can only imagine all the lives he touched while he was here as mayor.
When did you pass?
About
Couple
10 days ago,
Was he down by Lincoln?
it's in Cheyenne,
Sorry, because I talked to Kathy, but Bruno.
he's in Cheyenne.
Did anyone have anything they'd care to share, or?
All I'll say is he was a mayor that cared about Crawford,
Yeah,
And he
he was a
worked-
good guy.
worked hard for Crawford. Not everybody always agreed with him or the way he went about things, but he did care about the city, and his heart was always in the right place when it came to the city of Crawford.
So just as a finalized, motion or mention, we wanna thank the city of Crawford, would love to thank Terry Hagen for his term as mayor, and for his dedication, so thank you. We'll move on to number 8, presentation by Angie Taylor on behalf of the White River Wasippi to the city.
Do you wanna go up and present this to him?
Oh, I don't need that.
Okay. Alright.
I should have one that's got it by me, so. She could correct me. have down there. And, this is for the What You Do, like the What You Do group. Anyway, and then for, supplying us water this year, I don't know if it's the first time we've had water, but, if it is, I mean, that's the first time I've noticed it, but there's so much goes on down there, and you can't keep track of everything and everybody. So, I want to thank the board here and the mayor, for allowing us, one of your board members, or one of your employees, Kevin Hall, to help us down there, and he's been a great help. We really appreciate that. And then, I'm going to tell you that we have, 11 new members on the board. And before that, I only had like 4. But, it's amazing. It's really amazing to see these young people joining. They come and join themselves. I mean, actually, we put out there that, we needed help with board members, and they just came and, came to work and applied themselves to everything. And what amazes me is that they're computer thing. I don't know anything about computing. I don't know anything about even my phone. But to see these kids get in there and do the amazing things they do with computer, and how they have got donations for us this year. It's just amazing how before we used to just have a little bit of money to run off. But this year we had more than enough, and really appreciate every one of them. They're right out of college, and some of them are in college, and some are working, but they are really bright, and just, it's just really, I'm just proud of who they are. And they're proper kids. That's one of the amazing things I like about them, is that they're, from here, and they wanna do something. And I always believe in the young people to, get on board with the city people and volunteer at the nursing home and all of this stuff. Just apply yourself in the city. And to see these kids come along and do that is just really amazing. I really love that. And I just wanted to tell you that, well, I've been here a long time. Some of you know that. And my dad got hired on the railroad in the 1930s. So I have seen a lot of mayors and councilmen from the 1930s, and a lot of them have been very, I don't know, they've just been really good with the Indian people. And I call myself Indian because that's what I am. And a lot of people say, well, you're Native American. And I'm not. I said, I'm an Indian because I was called that from the beginning. And I appreciate it if you do call me Indian. So, but I just wanted to tell you that we just, I'm trying to keep up the things my mom and dad taught me, because I'm old fashioned and I have been traditional all my life. My cousins all went to school here and graduated and went to college and became nurses and all kinds of office people in big cities and all that, but I couldn't see that. I just love the Buttes, our beautiful Buttes, even though they got burned, but they'll come back. And so I just want to tell you all, the board members and the mayor, that I will give you this year. It's from our board, and I just want to thank you again for allowing this to be done.
Wonderful. Angie, thank you so much for all that you do for our community and the tradition that you have held up, and all that you've done to keep it going as long as you have. So hopefully our new volunteers can do you justice, okay? We'll move on to number 9. Discuss approve, disapprove Keno funds for the Senior Pro Rodeo sponsored bull riding event scheduled for the weekend of July 25th, 2026. Do we have a representative here?
We don't have to stay, do we? Okay.
So it's been this council's policy for about a year now that Keno funds are not being divvied out to all these individual groups that we're using it. Well, just for instance, they used over $50,000 of it to take down the ramp. So I think that we have denied other groups since we made that policy and it was made public. Therefore, if we grant any Keno funds to the Senior Pro group, then we're not being consistent with what we said. I don't remember, was it October when we made that, was it the new fiscal year when we made that policy official?
I think it was quite new discussion last budget year too.
But I think that Senior Pro was the last ones to get any money, and that was last year.
That sounds familiar.
So,
The Keno funds are for non-profit groups, right?
Basically, betterment of the city.
What?
Betterment, community betterment.
so therefore, I'm going to stand on remaining consistent. That's all I gotta say.
Any other discussion? Council?
Do it one for you, do it for all, I guess, if that's the policy that this council's made, and I guess we gotta stand by it. We gotta set a precedent. I wasn't part of that discussion, so I'm not really sure that I would totally agree. I don't know what the, funds are, where they're at right now, and we've had to use them in emergencies to cover stuff. And as tight as the budget is right now, I kinda tend to agree that keep things close to the vest. I hate to see it, because this brings people in, I really do, but I just don't think for you this year is quite possible that we've gone up. So I would agree with you.
Did you have anything that you'd like to discuss, Diane? I know I don't vote in this, but yes, I know I was a part of the discussion when we originally said that, we were gonna do what we could to back off for handing out Keno funds. We wanted to make sure that they were being used for, all of the things that the city needed to provide, that we just simply couldn't afford anymore. We just, like you said, keep our pocketbook as tight as we can, especially where we knew we had the grandstands coming up and we needed to be able to afford that, and that was the only way to afford that. There wasn't money anywhere else for that. I really do wish we had an opportunity to speak to whoever put this on here. I wish they'd attend so that we could discuss that with them. Even if it was, and he's attended before. And it's always the opportunity that, maybe a smaller amount could help, and maybe it's something we could agree to a smaller amount or something like, I think that's a missed opportunity to not show up to, I guess, try and haggle with us, try and make something happen. And then even too, when this was submitted, it's not under the agenda of how much was asked, but I don't know if it's submitted somewhere else, how much. As I say, I felt like last year it was pretty substantial, and I don't think that's something that we could afford this year, but, and it's not written in the request either, how much they'd like. So again, I don't know if, I would have liked to have been able to have that discussion to see if there's something else we could do to help.
Dale did call today and asked about the time, so I told him.
Okay.
In in 24, were you having meetings here?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Then we talked about the library, so.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it was the last time he gave him
Okay.
funds, he was here in the library, yeah. Okay, and unfortunately we have the events within the next section. We can't table this to another meeting because it's before that, so.
I move to disapprove the request, in reference to Dale not being
or even, you know, figured out other ways that we
Yeah,
can
it
help.
could help out somehow.
Right, you know, cause I really would have liked to see that if the city can help on another
For sure.
avenue, even if we can't help through funds, so. All right, I have a motion from Fromm, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dean, thank you, roll call.
From
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Justin.
Thank you. Number 10, discuss approve, disapprove of 47-cent per hour increase in wage for librarian Ashley Backsheep for completion of level 3 public librarian certification. I just have a quick question, Lisa. Was this part of, of the level that we had asked her to complete as part of her hiring? Cause I know part of her hiring, we wanted her to work towards a certain level. Is this that level? Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Roll call.
Dean,
Yes.
Gaston. Yes. From
Yes.
Thank you. 11, open, receive comments and close hearing for conditional use permit for Wade Wilkins to install a mobile home at 3591 Highway 20. Do I have comments, concerns?
Is it just the one mobile home you're moving in, Wade,
Yes, to start with.
to start with?
There's four RVs with us.
Are you talking, you're not talking RV though, you're talking a modular home, like a traditional trailer.
Yes.
And do you have a year on that trailer?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a year on that trailer, production year?
It's 97. It's 16 by 80. Has a peaked roof. And on the title it says mod, so I'm assuming that refers to a mod.
But you're not planning on putting on a foundation, you're just gonna set up as a trailer house.
It doesn't have the wheels and hitches underneath it right now, so you can't do a pure foundation.
Your intentions, are
Yes.
you intending to put it on a foundation, or you continue to use it as a mobile home?
It would be on a foundation.
It would be on a
Yeah.
foundation.
Yeah, as it is now.
So on your application, it says reasons why, it says clean up the town line and, economics 101. Does this mean that you will use this as your temporary residence while you,
Yes.
I guess, remodel that facility?
Yeah. For a contractor to live in there while we're working on the rest of it. Cause I'm afraid it's gonna be a big price tag.
So
Sure.
are you, you're looking on the east side of the veterinary, but that's, well, I mean, you're gonna have to do a lot of dirt work in there too, won't you?
Right. Yeah, that will be leveled out, and that stuff will all be cleaned out of there
Okay.
as well.
And so eventually, are you planning on moving more in, or is this?
Well, right now it's set up for RVs, so there's water and there's septic there now, so right now, currently, you could do that. I was just looking at something a little larger, because it's a 3-bedroom. So it gives me a few more options to do that before we get into the hotel part fixed. Cause I have no idea how much of a money pit that's really gonna be. Every time I drive by, I question myself. So,
A lot of work you took on.
Now, within that purchase there's the residence behind it, that includes, I mean, that's included in your project?
yes. It's the whole property that Brady owns there.
So are you looking to keep it there after the project's done?
If it's a possibility, yes, I mean, it'll be look nice and look a lot nicer than what it looks like right now, that's for sure.
There's no picture submitted, so it's hard to know what it looks like now.
The planning commission approved it based on his ownership of the property, because he doesn't own it right now.
Contingent on close.
Contingent, okay.
And then I think you will come back to the planning commission for where it's gonna sit and how, and setbacks and all of that that right?
No, I think it's finalized.
No, you
Because
still
when
need,
he can't get any closer to north line, because it's just.
you still need a building permit though, when he goes to the final.
He's gonna put a foundation.
This is a conditional use.
Because
You
this is
still
just
have-
the hearing.
You still have to have a building permit when he puts it on.
But you guys haven't approved the ordinance yet. Mobile home parks.
Still some discussion about where we're going with that.
Well, that's my question, because we've
It's not.
put it before the planning commission, and this trailer does not abide by that ordinance. And now here we have a trailer,
But we had a public hearing and we approved it, but you guys haven't had your public hearing.
Portion
And
of
if
it
you
has.
did approve it, then you gotta publish it 3 times, so you're a long ways out from it.
Portion of it was approved, but not all.
right,
As far
I
as
thought that we were waiting on where it belongs in the ordinance book. Thought that's all we were waiting on.
And that's on me. Cause it's different sections of the ordinance, book. It's all over the place. Actually, it's all over the zoning book. And some of the things that they approved don't fit in our zoning.
We approved what you presented to, most of it.
Part of it, that's the
We
thing,
didn't get into the permit.
that was the issue. It was pieced together, it was put together for a company one size, it's,
Well, it went as far as the size, that there was no provision for
so
issuing
regardless of,
permits for any trailer.
irregardless, that's a question for another day, as far as that, we have a permit before.
But I think you have our minutes.
Yeah, they should have,
They're here.
Can we move forward if we don't have the ordinance
Yes.
already?
Based on what we have right now.
Did you have an issue with the year, Chris?
No,
It's got the pitched roof,
it's not 18 feet wide.
it is not.
It is.
You know, 6,
Oh, it's 16 by 8, I'm sorry. There's not that many 18 by 8.
but you don't have an ordinance saying it has to be.
Well, my question is, what are we waiting on? We've been talking about this, actually, I've been talking about this for 7 years.
can anybody talk?
If you, yeah, you're more than welcome to.
Okay,
Add to
my
it.
question is why are you limiting yourself to an 18 wide trailer?
It's minimum.
But I moved in a 16 by 80 brand new trailer 5 years ago. What's wrong with that if it's brand new?
This all came up when the yellow trailer moved in on Main Street.
I understand that.
And
but-
this is what this is verbatim what the state statute is, what the city can limit.
But you can't limit it unless, you can limit it to a mobile home park. You can't deny any trailer house.
That's what I'm wondering there, right there, is can we just set it up, that's why I was asking, is you plan on more, set it up as
So
a
we don't have a trailer park.
mobile park, trailer park, and we could circumvent a lot of these
We don't have
issues.
a mobile home.
But if he was, I
Because
don't know what he was,
my concern is you guys have a lot of houses in this town that are not livable.
Mhm.
And the cost of building a new house, I looked into that instead of a mobile home. I mean, it's twice as much as a mobile home. So that's my concern, we're limiting the working class people and encouraging them not to come here. I mean, I understand about the other trailer, and maybe you should get pictures and all of that, cause I wasn't real happy with that whole thing either. Because I did requirements that you guys, the planning commission told me I had to do, and I did it. They did not. So I understand where you're coming from, but, I mean, a lot of the houses in Crawford need tore down. There's quite a few. I mean, there's no saving them. So what are you gonna put there?
you start putting mobile homes in and.
Well,
Big mobile home park then and.
Well, but you can, like I said, you can get pictures, and like I said, mine was brand new.
What was wrong with the
getting
60
off-
by 80 brand new
We're
one?
getting off track here, and what we're trying to do is figure out whether we wanna plow. And that's what my problem, my question is, what do you Wade, is what your intentions were, and what you want going forward. If you're planning on making it a park, you put more out there.
If that was
This is just-
allowable, that would be, I think, better for the town, cause there's more taxes there, and it's not an income.
I agree, if we could have mobile homes out there.
But I didn't even know what, I'm a long-time listener, first time caller here, really, so pardon the ignorance of the process and procedures.
City government, it takes a while.
Well, and that's why this is listed as a conditional use. It's a special request, in other words, is why it is coming to us as a conditional use. It's not, it's gonna be that when it's not the norm. And that's why we're considering it as a one-off. That's
We have,
what it's listed
in the
as.
zoning, if you have double wides are allowed, period, paragraph.
But beyond that,
But
beyond
single
that.
wides have to have the conditional use permit, that's the only difference.
I don't know.
But as everything stands right now, he's doing what we have in standing, and it is a conditional use for what he needs it to be, and we have to consider it as a conditional use at this
And
time.
that's what we approved.
Correct.
I don't have a problem with him where he's gonna put that. I would like to know if he's planning on putting.
Regina is tickled to death.
Well, we should clean it up, and
Yeah.
that's 100%. So, I personally, I do not have a problem. I do have a problem with him being in town, this is city limits, so then we got issues, but that's a whole different discussion. So, that's my 2 cents.
I would recommend on your issues with, single wides, have it be a 2 or 3 apartments. It doesn't have to be 18-foot wide, but if it's a certain square footage.
That's on there too.
It's on.
And then if it's being also used as a primary residence, potentially, I realize you guys don't want trailers coming in and using for storage units, and those kind of things. But, an 18-foot wide modular is very expensive, and I have a dealership for modular homes, and they're not always 18-foot wide. I mean, they can be much wider, but, sometimes they put double wide together and they're still only, 10 foot each, so you got 20 foot, you're past 18 foot, but they do that mainly for shipping them overseas, cause they're like a Connex or a container size, which is only 8 foot wide. So that's, and they're modular, so they put together like Lego blocks. In Taiwan, for example, they have container parks, and they stack those things 4 or 5 high. And it's kind of interesting, but they turn those into houses, and they're very sturdy houses.
In every city I've been a part of, they've always had a mobile home park. And they were not allowed, if they're single wide, to be allowed to be parked in the city limits. Or they had a park. So, unless it was a double wide or modular, then that's a whole different deal. But Chris is right, we need to figure out this ordinance, so we've got something to stand by. Figure out, we need to get it done. That being said, and I don't think this is special use, where he's placing it, it's out of sight, out of view, out of mind. It's gonna be utilized to clean up his property. He's giving us legit reasons. I don't have a problem with it. If you put it on a foundation, that much better. I think that would be a prerequisite to it for me, but that's 2 cents.
Any other comments? While we're still open. Okay, do I have a motion to close? Can you just take a motion to close? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the hearing for the conditional use permit for Wade Wilkins to install a mobile home at 3591 Highway 20. We will move to item 12. Thank you, William. 12, approve, disapprove a conditional use permit for Wade Wilkins to install a mobile home at 3591 Highway 20. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll move to approve a conditional use permit for Wade Wilkins to install a mobile home at 3591 Highway 20.
Okay, I have a motion on the table, do I have a second? I do not have a second, so motion is lost. I don't have to take a roll call on that, correct? Okay, number 13. Discuss, approve, disapprove abatement of RTS fees at 420 Main by Wade Wilkins.
So you didn't approve or disapprove that, so what did you do then?
It's not
I know it
approved.
died for lack of second, but
It's
does
not
that mean
approved.
you disapprove?
Yeah. It's not approved.
Bill's Slower.
Oh, that's on the corner.
It's on the corner,
Okay.
Gray House. So I guess we've already set a precedent here, before, right?
Correct, she recently purchased to remodel, to resell. Wade, did you wanna come up and answer a couple questions? Is this new purchase and your intention?
Yes, this is a kind of all or nothing deal with Brady to purchase all these properties. I purchased them before and I got ripped off by his niece, I guess it was. And been waiting for like 5 years to get us all cleaned up, so Bill and Jim Brady kind of didn't agree after they agreed, and so no one has been paying the bill. So my position is I would buy it. I've already invested in it, I've already paid the taxes on it, on a couple different properties. So if the city was willing to do an abatement, then I would start paying the bill, so then at least the city would be getting funds paying that bill on a regular basis.
Before it's purchased, is that what you're alluding to?
Yes, this was kind of an all or nothing kind of a deal.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you both questions, and if the purchase does not go through, then you'll come down to City Hall and have that switched to the previous owner, is that what you're requesting?
No, I'm just requesting if I follow through with this, I just wanna see if the city's willing to do that, because that bill is about $4,000. I
Sure,
didn't realize that, nor was I told about that by the former folks. in
Sure,
Motiva.
sure. Just in asking additional questions to understand the full circumstance, because we have issued this before, but we asked all the additional questions to understand the intent. And actually, we did put caveat on it. So if you don't end up with the sale of the hotel, will you not want the sale of this, or would you not want the purchase of this?
Probably not, it's a combined package to clean up also on Hospital Garden House.
Okay.
So that one as well, but, Jim agreed to pay up the taxes on that and the water bill as well as on the hotel, cause they're not an
Correct.
enormous amount. His point is Bill should have been paying it, that was his deal. I didn't want to get in the middle of any of that, so the agreement is you will release any interest in it, Jim, and Bill will then sell that to me for the third time. So my point is, I don't wanna get in the middle of their dispute, this is a way to clean it up and start making the bills being paid to the city. But what their bills were, I didn't think I really should step into the middle of that either, especially at that amount.
Sure, understandable, but this isn't a rent-tenant issue. I mean, you're not renting the place or anything along those lines, you're taking care of the bill, but you are not the owner either.
Right. And actually, Bill moved back in, unbeknownst to me at one point too, so I've just been kind of laying back and being patient until it could come to a head. And with the sale of the hotel, when Jim got out, talked to him about it, and he's ready to disperse of his assets and move on.
Sure.
So this is the proposal I put together for him, a way to clean it up, and for Bill too, because if it goes into disrepair, the city's gonna have to take it over and tear it down, I mean, that's gonna be fairly expensive too.
We've had another party speak about this property too, so.
You sure that Brady owns that property? For sure?
He has a deed, a quitclaim deed, but he never filed it because Bill was supposed to pay up the water, and Bill never did. So that's their opposing views, and I'm kind of in the middle, trying to clean it up by going ahead with the purchase. I'd like to see if the city would, do an abatement on what was due, so that revenue stream can start coming in for the city.
I just don't know how we could do that without you having a sale, though. I don't know that, I mean, this is all, there's a lot of ifs and buts in here, it sounds to me like, Wade, so I don't.
Between those two guys, yes, but as it is
But
now.
you don't own the property.
Right.
But the paperwork is done and ready to go. And they agreed to it. It took me a while to get them both in the same pot.
The clarity to me would be if Brady sought to file his quitclaim deed, if he's holding it, and if he files it, then we know that Bill's out of the equation as far as that goes, right?
Well, he has to sign over his interest in it so that, because as you know, this is a rush to the courthouse state for filing. So he wants to sell the hotel pretty bad, so he's gonna make sure this happens.
From the standpoint of the council right now, I think that it's something we would listen to. There's a lot of balls up in the air right now, so to speak.
We need you to be the deciding factor and not us, in other words. Like, we need you to be the deciding factor and not us. Like, you have to have the majority claim in the process as opposed to us forcing that. We can't hold liability on you by any means.
Right.
And we would need to, in a certain sense, if you're paying utility, you would be paying utility as the responsible party, and you're not technically a responsible party.
Right, that's why I'm trying to become that party, so that.
Right, but you need to become that through them and not
I
us.
think we're good with that, except if we release it with beta right now.
Oh,
And-
I agree, not until it's transferred.
Well, it's gonna be contingent on
Correct.
many things. Basically ending up in your name is
Right.
where we would fall.
You're juggling a lot of
And I
balls
think we could easily just not make a decision
I
tonight and
think
reconsider.
what we can tell you is we will consider that,
Okay,
and it's,
that's all I wanted to know.
We have a precedent.
Yeah.
So that is, it's legit.
the consideration's real,
Okay,
but if you can get the dominoes to fall the right way.
yeah, that'll happen this week. I wanted to hold off till this meeting, so I kinda had a good idea.
The feeling, for sure.
I feel better about it, as well as with the hotel, because maybe most people don't know, but the intent with the hotel is to do it for some veterans program, where they help veterans that are kinda down on their luck get back on their feet, and they help them with 50% of their rent. And not just veterans, but also, WEAVE is another program. They just need some temporary housing to help them get on their feet again. And those are kitchenettes on the top floor. The bottom floor would probably just have to be storage units, cause there would be an enormous amount of R&R to get those back up. There's been water damage in there. So.
And just for clarity too, to provide some precedence of what we've done before, the one that we've done previous to this, we did ask there to be, enough action at the facility that I think we gave for 2 years. And there couldn't be any non-compliance during those 2 years, or it would come back.
Non-compliance being.
Any
She'd
kind
have
of
to be-
ordinance violation would be no compliance.
She'd have to be within
So everything
compliance
needed to be
within 2 years.
within reason, cleaned up fairly, so lawn needs to be mowed immediately, but everything else needs to be progressive
Sure.
and probably fairly seriously progressive, and the one that we've done before, we've seen that already, so.
Okay.
Great job.
But you've gotta go 2 years with no offenses.
Okay. I'll keep my nose clean.
So,
Just so you know what
I
you're
think for
getting
tonight,
into.
it's been a good discussion and no action. We'll see what happens with
Yep.
how this plays out for you.
Okay, all right, I'll do, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Number 14, discuss, approve, disapprove the AC repair on the John Deere loader. Yes, I believe that sounds about right. This would be Tim's loader.
It's only 104 out, open the window, right?
Drive faster.
Drive faster, yeah.
Again, Tim's not here, and I don't know if, Jane, could you say if he's got room within his budget for this? I think we looked at it and thought there might have been what was considered and what he had for repair and street.
His repairs to vehicle. Yeah, he's definitely got 7,000 budgeted, he's only used 214.96, so he's
So
got.
he does have it within his budget.
7,000 left.
Motion to approve the AC repair on the John Deere loader.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Fromm, roll call. Dean?
Yes.
Fromm?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 15, discuss approve, disapprove. Discuss approve, disapprove. Wage salary for interim city clerk Jane Bailey.
I'm currently at 20, Terry was at 23, I think I was at 23 salary, which, I don't know, would you consider salary me, like, because this is budget season and you can't say we don't want any overtime and yet
Have guaranteed overtime.
there's
Correct.
too much work to do in 40 hours. If you wanted to roll it back to what I was making in 22, that would be less than what you've been paying.
Right.
So,
But not fair.
I feel,
You say that. what
We
were
did
you-
have Terry on hourly, correct?
mhm.
Yes.
And you were saying something about possibly having some extra help, and sometimes that has to be done in the grand scheme of things, figure out wages to do, you know, if you take a small cut, you know, go back to 2022 wages, and then maybe that can give us some leverage or some room to hire somebody 4 to 6 hours a week to help you out, or wherever you need 20 hours, I guess what you were saying, so.
Well, we did budget last year for Jane to be what she is now.
We did,
We did, that was in the budget
it's
as,
$28 an hour, 23,
No,
no,
20.
20.
20 an hour
At
for the
40
one day
hours a
week.
week.
So
For
with
one
one
day.
Terry at 23
As a part-time.
and me at
Yeah,
20.
she was just, and so that was in last year's budget.
I was in
um,
last year's budget.
Right, right.
This
So-
current budget.
And this is for an interim salary too, so we could do a trial of this while we go through the budget season and see,
For sure.
you know, I mean, we could give something, you know, maybe middle of the ground right now for interim, and then as we go through the budget season, and we can figure out exactly what we want, maybe that part-time to be, and what we could afford to make it as, and then as it's the official hire after applications, if she's our hire in the long run, or whoever's our hire in the long run, we know more accurately what we can afford for the long term
Good.
with that part-time.
Are you okay with that, Jane?
Yeah, in theory, I guess we're not talking about,
We're not.
we just didn't talk about it
Right,
when I was appointed interim, so.
right, we didn't, we need to kind of retroactively fix this. Correct, yeah, she just
I'm
said
fine.
yes and we kept her.
I'm afraid that probably not gonna be able to find 20 hours a week in the budget, but. So I don't know.
But we didn't,
But if you're
what
thinking-
were you making before? It was less than half, it was what?
What was I making?
But when you left,
Oh, I think it came out to 23.
okay. But that was
If you were
salary,
only working 40 hours a week.
right?
Probably $5 an hour.
Well, honestly, and the hours that you were putting in, that was probably pretty realistic.
So if we leave you at 23 an hour?
She's asking for salary.
If she
I
had to do
understand that.
23 an hour
Well,
salary.
and I
do
think
it
23 an hour salary is the same thing.
We
is what I
can
was making.
adjust the salary
Right.
if the interim tag comes off.
If you,
Right.
right, till after the interim, right, $23 an hour till after the interim tag comes off, and then we can figure out to do not a salary, what am I looking at for? We can refigure it as we do our budget,
Okay,
so we can figure out where we're at.
Cause I wanna come up with it, I mean, tomorrow night
We'll
is
be there
library
tomorrow.
and fire hall, and the next one is, we will be there. So in the time that we have to advertise for that position.
so you're saying 23 an hour as interim, and then we'll reevaluate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Budget.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll try to keep the hours down. You know, I'm a workaholic. Okay.
We salary, but afterwards, after we get the hourly, figure this out, so we give us some time to crunch some numbers, figure out where we're at. So we can put you on salary eventually.
Think of it this way, if it makes you feel bad, you get to work both yours and Terry's hours then. Cause that's what we were paying before.
But if you salaried me at 23 an hour, you wouldn't have to worry about any overtime, you're not paying any more than 23 an hour.
It'll be short term enough, I think it'll be okay.
I'm just trying to look out for you guys.
Does that pencil out to the federal exemption?
What's that?
Does that keep you in exempt status?
I think I'm still supervising Jody and Dave.
Yeah, but there's the requisite minimum salary level.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one, cause that was a new, right.
I think it does. but
Yeah,
it's-
because it's like 684 a week, and I don't have a phone, but I think that comes to 30-something, 37 or something. So,
Yeah. I'll let you figure out what you're hanging on.
okay.
Yeah, I think for now, we just do it.
Because I have to be over 50.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, 35, 568.
It's 50,000.
So let's, well, interim state for.
That's where I'm at, I think that's, yeah, let's just leave her on salary at $23 an hour until.
Or leave on hourly,
What's that?
we have to leave her on
On
hourly.
hourly.
Yep, yep.
I keep saying salary,
That's
yeah,
okay.
sorry. Yeah, leave her at
We will leave
$23 an hour.
Okay, Sue, would you like to make that motion?
I will make that a motion.
Okay, so I have a motion from to set her wage at $23 per hour interim from. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Gaston, thank you, roll call. From?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 16, discuss, approve, disapprove adding Jane Daly as authorized user on the city's credit card. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Dean, second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, From, roll call.
Dean?
Yes.
From?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Thank you. 17, discuss, approve, disapprove course of action on maturing CD, rollover or withdrawal of any funds. Could you tell us more about this,
Here,
Jim?
yeah, here is, I'm gonna take one and text out, how the CD breaks down, because parts of it are dedicated to different departments based on maybe money that was bequeathed to us for the cemetery and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, so that last whole column that totals 197,488.41, that's what it is currently at. And I don't think they probably wanted to review any of it, but I thought we had 1 day's grace here after the meeting to not get a penalty if we wanted to review any of it.
I don't know that the amounts are high enough in the right departments to make it worth redeeming at this time from my perspective, but discussion, council?
So all this has been cashed out except for these last 5? 4?
What do you mean?
That's what I'm trying to figure out how this reads here.
It's 197,488.41.
Is for this,
That's
for
the
the total,
balance.
for all?
Yes,
Yeah, that was the previous total, and then there's interest, and now this is the final.
balance,
Total,
so
so
those
you
are
got
the
it.
running balances.
Just, I don't know, figure getting greedy with 3.55 seems awful small. I just think we could reinvest this someplace else.
I'm not sure about that interest. Oh, yep, it is 355, okay.
Just, I don't know, I would have to do some studying on this, I guess. I don't know.
What's the term length on if we renew where we're at? Is it 7 months that we're
We've
running
been
right now?
doing this one happens to be a 6-month.
Okay,
So, yeah, so we come back up in December.
that gives us time to hunt,
That's, yeah. Gives us.
if you'd like that. Or if that feels satisfactory enough as opposed to
Yeah, as long as I
12
don't
hours.
forget. I'll get busy and I'll forget.
Understandable, correct, yes.
But I think that there's gotta be something that's to be better than that.
Any other comments, council?
There have been some at 7 We have had a
See
few
if-
come
if
through.
there's a better interest rate, we can probably see. I think one time it was approved to go with whatever is the best interest, but you probably wanna know. Although if it's a difference of 1 month. Right?
Do I have a
I think
motion?
we should keep the money in our local bank, but, see if they have a better interest rate. If not, then just
Oh, we
roll it
can't.
over.
It has to be Rapid City's security first,
Oh.
because of the FDIC
Yeah.
stuff. Too much money in one bank. Didn't think we'd ever hear too much money.
They keep it pretty low, request limit.
I think you can have 250, is what they're covering, so.
I'm really not even sure, I just don't have enough knowledge here, I guess, so I guess for the
To
best.
be quite honest, Brian, that's about what we're getting with Swan on our money market accounts.
3.55?
Mhm.
Yeah. That just seems that's light. Especially with economy, maybe. What is prime rate? All right, so I guess roll it over, I think, guys.
Would you like to roll it over and request the highest amount per percentage if it,
Well, for sure.
if it adjusts? But I mean, if it changes as opposed to, if it's not 6 months, but we have to do it as an 8-month, are you okay with making an additional percentage if the time changes, the time frame changes? Is that, would you like to include that portion of it in your request?
Imagine it being that much difference, but yeah, I guess.
I don't wanna twist your arm here. I want you to sound confident in your motion here,
I
Brian.
would really like to address this honestly, but I know me, and I get sidetracked and I'll forget about it, and it'll come July, come December, and I'll go, oh crap. Yeah, let's roll it over, if we can get a longer term or a better term for longer term,
That's
then
acceptable.
that'll be acceptable, yeah. for-
Okay. We'll
For
take
up
that as a
to
motion
one.
for from.
Up to 1 year, do we set a limit on it? I mean, I don't want
I
to
don't
go 2
think
years
we've ever
out.
had, no, I don't think we've ever had anything
Never had it that
long
long.
we considered. I think the longest, maybe one of the longest ones was 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, I'll try and do some studying on this.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Dean, roll call. Ron?
Yeah.
Dean?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 18, discuss, approve, disapprove the city working in conjunction with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission to offer Crawford residents transportation and individual and family swimming passes to the new Fort Robinson pool. The purpose of this partnership is to increase recreational opportunities for community members by providing accessible transportation and affordable access to the pool. I was approached last fall with this idea, and the opportunity to work with the state, through, they had a couple of, I guess donators is the best way to put that. But a couple of individuals that wanted to donate funds to be used within the area, and I said, you know, if you want to see a lot of Crawford residents out there, you could figure out a way to throw us a bone. And this is kind of what we've come up with. As it stands right now, we are looking to them to give us $5,000 in 2026 to be used to pay for the bus to run from just out front of the public library to pick up individuals who want to go out to the pool at 1 o'clock, go drop them off, let them swim, and then the bus would go pick them up at the fort at 3:30 and bring them out and drop them off just in the out front. They do not need to come in the library at all. If it's not part of it, we're just using that as a public space that actually has seating and would be safe for kids to gather if they needed to. Say that?
They'd be very long.
Yes, of course. So that would be Monday through Friday, and that bus ride would be free. The caveat of the state park system would be, that they need to be, 13 years to swim on their own. So if they're gonna jump on the bus, they've gotta be 13 to get in the pool on their own. If they are 7 and above, they can come with a 16-year-old. So if that 16-year-old says that I'm in charge of these 2 10-year-olds, those 3 can attend the bus, ride the bus for free out to the park and go swim. So The bus section is one part of this, then with the remaining funds, we've prorated it for the season this year because we're so far into the season of what we've started, but, we've prorated what it's gonna cost to run to run the bus. That's been subtracted from this year's $5,000 amount, and the rest of those funds are gonna be, awarded as free family passes and free single passes down at City Hall. You must be a Crawford resident, you have to be an in-city Crawford resident to sign up, but you can come down to City Hall and sign up if our council decides to participate in this and approve it tonight. But if this goes through, we would start that tomorrow morning, and it would go for a season pass for the rest of the season. With this, we actually have funding for this for 2 years, as it stands right now, so $5,000 this year, $5,000 next year, and I spoke to her this morning, she's asking the foundation today to consider a 3rd year. But as of tonight, we're just considering, running it for this year and with the possibility of renewing it next year.
Can I ask a question?
You bet.
They've been at full capacity out there to where they haven't allowed people in after 250, swimmers. And then what they tell them, and I know this because my granddaughter works there, when somebody leaves, we can let 2 more in, or if one person leaves, they can let 1 more in. Wonder if that would happen. Where would the kids?
You know, the fort's been great about communicating with us and setting this up and making arrangements. We've also come to the conclusion too that, you know, we're not unaware of the storms that like to pass through about 3 o'clock in the afternoon too, or maybe when they're in the middle of out there. We have made arrangements to, if that happens, that they can call our transportation department if they need to come pick them up early because the storm's coming through. That's something that can happen. I would assume that we could easily do the same thing, that if they feel like they've already reached capacity before 1 p.m., that they could reach out and give a call and say, hey, you know, we're not taking any more today. They do open at noon, so I think we might be able to hit before they reach capacity, at the 1 o'clock, but yes, my family and I have been out there twice now.
Would the bus be able to wait just a minute then to see if those kids could get in?
I don't know that we need to put that on there, but between who runs the front counter at the fort and the manager, I think that we can put that notice that if they think they're getting close, they need to let the city know with the bus, so that way, we can kind of make it a prerequisite. I think that would be functional, but yes, thanks for, bringing that up, because I had no idea that they had actually hit capacity a few times, so not surprised, it's been
a
wonderful.
lot of times.
Yeah.
It's probably not, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments, council?
Yeah, they've only got like a month till school starts.
Right, they can use the passes until the fort shuts the pool down for the season, for this year's passes, and then next year we'll have to go through the process as far as signing up for the passes again. But the bus will only, the bus will only run until the day before school. So there won't be the option for the bus after school starts. But they can still use their pass if their parents want to take them out. Any other questions?
How many kids can get on the bus, including their moms or whatever?
I guess I would assume she's gonna use the bigger bus, or she has option to use the bigger bus if we've got that many kids, but I know she takes quite a few. I wanna say, about
Oh, good.
total.
That's good.
And, you know, if we get that many people, I think maybe she needs to take more than 2 loads. Well, I guess we'll approach that if we run into those numbers.
Yeah.
But that's probably something we'll need to consider for next year, if with this year is really exciting. But yeah, there's not a lot of the season left this year, is the only concern.
Is there any way to offer this to low-income families first? I mean, is there? No.
We would, in order to determine that, we'd have to ask questions that it's not appropriate to ask throughout the city, so.
Getting paperwork would be a problem.
Yeah.
Since it's,
But, you know, the only way that we've attempted to make this most appropriate is to limit it to citizens of Crawford. You've gotta be an in-town resident.
That's a great opportunity for the kids to be able to go out there and not pay the admission. Let's face it, our town is low.
Well, that is one thing that they said, hey, how are we gonna get more Crawford residents out here? And I said, you need to understand that out of the 93 counties in Nebraska, you're looking at one of the poorest. And there's a reason why we have such high numbers at our local pool. And whatever you can do to make that more accessible is gonna help.
Yeah, our local War Street is full of kids going to school every day.
Right.
Well, it's a great opportunity for families and kids. I wish they'd applied this when our pool closed a couple years ago.
There's just an opening,
They
Brian.
They had one there.
They tore it out.
It hasn't been out that long. It's only a year.
Last fall.
Last fall. Yeah, I know what the reason they want is. That's what. I get that, but in the grand scheme of things, this is.
The nice part about this is it is not a dime out of the city's pocket. We were 100% reimbursed for every dime that we're offering. The state is going to reimburse us for that. So $5,000 this year, $5,000 next year. And she, like she mentioned this morning, she's meeting with that foundation today, and she hopes to potentially extend that to a third year. And if that's something that can be a ugly habit we adapt, then so be it.
Well, I think a family pass is $180.
It's $190 for a family pass, and it is, I think, $90 for a single.
$95 a single?
Yeah.
It's a great
So it will be helpful.
chance for kids to go.
How does that look for all people invested in our pool?
Hmm?
How does it look for, if we support this program? I'm not, yeah. If we support this program, how does that look for the city? For the people who have supported reopening our pool, invested in our pool?
So again, it's zero money out of the city's pocket. And how does that look then, Brian?
How does it look to the people that invested in our pool?
Right, how does it look then?
How does it look? Doesn't look good for the city.
We are not using any of our funds to fund this.
I understand that, this is a state deal, I get that. How does it look for the city to promote this?
I
I'm
think
telling
it's
you,
a
I
great
don't think
habit.
it's a bad idea, don't get me wrong, I'm just being honest here. How does it look for all the people that spent thousands of dollars into our pool? We don't have it open, and it's not our fault, it's not their fault, but at the same time.
So I'll do the same. If you're gonna allude to something, go ahead and finish the statement. I mean, if you want to make sure that it's covered, then say it's a full statement. We can't take what you mean if you're not gonna say it all. Like, if you think that this looks bad on behalf of the cities, what part of this makes it look bad?
That we are providing transportation, we had this option 2 years ago, 3 years ago, trying to do this, and nobody got it done. We tried to do this, and now all of a sudden that
Brian,
they got a new
wasn't the
pool up.
stickler on that?
Huh?
The age of the children needing the
And
chaperone?
we had to have a chaperone, they put all kinds of
Yeah,
stipulations
really,
on it,
yeah.
and now they're not all of a sudden, so how does it?
It's a different pool.
Yeah, I understand that, and they want, there's a reason they're doing that, it's for the economics. They want people out there filling, they want them, but I get that. Because eventually people go, they invest in our community, get people going out there. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I'm just asking.
I understand what
I'm
you're saying,
asking,
but
how
you're
does
alluding
this
to it being
look
negative on
on the
behalf
city?
of the city's
It is.
portion, but what part of that is negative? Because so far, everything that you said, well, this and this and this has all been they, as in the Ford. But you haven't mentioned the negativity
It
that
will
the
come
city
back
will be
on
bringing.
the city will be the one that it's gonna come back on, I guarantee you, I know how this town works.
I
It'll
can,
come back on the town.
I can kind of elaborate on Brian's thing. Because some people will not hear, they're like Brian. They'll think you're putting money into the fort. They didn't hear the part about, that you got funds from somewhere else. It's not Crawford's money. They're gonna, yeah, they're gonna say that Crawford is promoting the fort, they're paying for our kids to go to the fort, but they won't pay for our kids to go here in town. Cause they won't hear any of the part about you
So
got funds from somewhere to help out, and, I mean, people won't, that's what Brian's trying to point out, I think.
I think it's a
I
great
certainly
program.
can get that, but the rebuttal to that could easily be that anything that we've agreed to pay for today could be misunderstood and a waste of the city's funds. Like, that, just to say that
I know.
it's misunderstood makes it somehow
Okay.
evil.
I know.
But again, if there's anything that we can clarify here to make that go away, then let's do so, is
Well,
my point.
I understand where you're coming from,
Sure.
and I'm all for kids having fun, so,
For sure. 100%.
but, some people take it the wrong way.
Sure, Lisa?
So, when I worked for a living, I had all kinds of people not happy with me, and you get used to it. This is the city collaborating with the state. This is the state putting forward the funds. This is an opportunity to provide recreation for our local kids. Why would we not do it?
I don't think we should not do it.
Mm-mm,
That's not my point at all.
Well, then we're thinking too hard.
Yeah.
well, you just gotta have broad, you guys have
Right.
to have
It is,
broad shoulders.
it is what it is, so.
Mhm.
Well, and I'll thank you, Lisa, for mentioning the partnership, because I think that's something that I have been disappointed to not see more of in my term here with the city, is more cooperation between the city and the fort, and even so much as to say the city and the school. All three of us should be very tied closely together on, you know, patting each other's backs and making sure that everybody's wheels are working. None of us have enough people, manpower, or money to be successful on our own. So any chance to gap that, I think we need to take that opportunity, so thank you. Anything else? And do I have a motion?
So when you keep saying the state, you mean the Nebraska Game and Parks, is that who's giving us the money?
No, it's an independent state foundation
Okay.
that's actually, so it's not even the board that's
Right.
coming up with the money, it is an independent state foundation. I've been in communication with, I know her first name's Hannah, I can't think of her last name.
It's Crumpet. That's all.
But yeah, she's the one that has reached out on behalf of the state to help set this up and navigate, you know, what questions we need to answer and, you know, possible scenarios that we need to cross and set up to make sure that this is, a successful partnership and that it runs smooth enough that it's something that we can, progress through, in the future.
So I move that we
Hannah Jones.
approve the transportation, 5,000 this year to Fort Rob and 5,000 next year. You have the 10,000.
Yes, it is the funding of 10,000 for each year.
I lost my page. Allotted 5,000 this year and wanted.
Yep, to be used on the bus and the passes.
Right. And,
Second.
Okay, Ron, a second from Dean, roll call. Ron?
yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. 19, discussion regarding selling the Ponderosa Villa. This has been, unfortunately, something that has come to this end, I guess, is a good way to maybe put that. The Ponderosa has been struggling for quite some time over the last few years as far as finances and with our management. We have finally got a management company that is helpful in the last year, and they, in that time frame, have voiced interest in the facility. We still owe such a large amount that in order to keep the facility running and maintaining it as an open facility, our best bet is to sell and to let somebody else, to use those funds to pay off that debt so that it can stay open. There's not a lot of other avenues that we haven't already tried or navigated to not be at this position. The villa is our second largest employer in the community, so it is important that we keep it larger.
First full-time.
First full-time.
Okay, that's why I'm at this meeting. I gave 40 years of employment to Ponderosa Villa, loved every minute of it. I am saddened that the city has ignored Ponderosa Villa for all the years that it's been open because it paid its own bills. The city did not pay any attention to it, didn't care about it, and now look where we are. There's a lot of laws that were passed that we used to get people from Wyoming and South Dakota. Okay, a lot of laws were passed. They can no longer cross state lines with Medicaid, Medicare. And that hurt us tremendously, but did the city at that time jump in with any ideas? I mean, I am saddened, because everybody, just about everybody in this room has either worked there or had a resident there that was treated very well. Angie Taylor, her mother, worked there with my mother. This community has given years and years of labor to that, and I understand we're in a financial problem, and I'm saddened that nobody paid any attention until now. because they were my family. A lot of them I didn't know, but once they came into the nursing home, I knew their name because of my grandma that lived here. They were all my family. And I am gonna cry because I am saddened that everybody in this room has either had somebody that's lived there or has worked there in this community and put such an effort into that place all these years. And now we're gonna, and you might think that company is great, but you guys don't hear what actually goes on. Raylene can tell you that. None of the employees will tell the board or you what actually has went on all these years. Because we get retaliated against if we do. So we all just keep our mouth shut, and so we were probably part of the problem. Okay, your administrator, my mother-in-law's in there now. Okay, her bill has not been right since the day she walked in the door. That was when Stacy was there, and now with this company. My husband's finally had to call up there because he'd been up there several times, and your office manager, who's now quit, wasn't in the building. Your administrator was not in the building. You know, you can't pay a bill if nobody's there to take your money. Okay, then they got it all screwed up, and she is on Medicaid. So every year my husband has to refile. Every year he has to go up there, and she's been in there 3, and straighten out the bill before he can pay it. Because you can only have $4,000 in your account, and I must admit my husband's a procrastinator. So he does get 1 or 2 months behind. But then you get the bill and it's not right anyway. So then you have to go up there, and then they have to back. One employee up there, and I won't tell you her name, her mother was in the assisted living 3 years ago. She finally got a bill. Her dad got a bill for that room for 3 years ago. So whose fault? It's partly whose fault? You know, how many people, if you're not on Medicaid, who keeps an eye on you and the money you're spending, how many private people have not paid their bill or have not gotten a bill? And I'm sure all you guys didn't know that. And your company, we evacuated years ago. We had a fire, we had smoke, we had to evacuate. Okay, so I go up there at 10 o'clock, the day they evacuated that night, because my mother-in-law's in there, and I said, what is our plan? Well, we're gonna take them to Bridgeport and Hemingford, because we're running both of those, and we already called, and they got room for them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I go and visit my mom in Hemingford, my mother-in-law in Hemingford. I found out they had to bring beds from the Ponderosa Villa, the whole bed frame, and mattresses. At first, they just threw the mattresses on the floor and had them sleep on the floor. They had to bring the bed frames, and they did not take any to Bridgeport. My mother-in-law was not on the floor, thank goodness, because she's not going to be 95 years old. So I know this company is interested in buying, and you guys got to do what financially you need to do, but they're not for our residents, and they're not for this town, and they're for themselves. Because if you had, you would know if that place had beds, not mattresses that you had to bring with you to throw on the floor. How many of you knew that?
I did.
I don't think that's appropriate. Because it's not appropriate when you have, Alliance has a nursing home, Shadron has one, Hay Springs. That's not appropriate that our people should have to lay on the floor on a mattress at 90-some years old because you didn't plan ahead. They knew at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I apologize, I think you said it earlier, but I missed it. What's your name, dear?
My name is Vicki Cryle Raven.
Vicki, thank you for coming. Thank you for carrying enough take the time
Well, the
tonight
only
to
reason
come.
I'm here is I'm retired, so they cannot retaliate against me anymore, and they will not retaliate against my mother-in-law, because my husband will see to that. But that's the whole thing has been sad. Cause the staff can't tell you what, and there's more than that going on there, lots more than that going on in there, but they aren't gonna tell you. Because,
What's unfortunate is a lot of what you're saying is a very common story in a lot of rest homes and facilities that are in rural areas. I mean, this is not unique to our community.
well,
There's been
no,
a lot of changes in that industry over the last 10 years that have really changed what the dynamic is and how we're able to perform, how we care for those individuals, how the city's able to impact that, how it's set up, how it's initiated, how it's dealt with, and it continues to become a harder and harder industry to be in.
well, and the other thing is, I know of 3 people that they denied because they're wanderers. Okay, we have wander guards. And I know the people that were going in there. We have water guards. So what was their reasoning? And the one family is very angry, and they're not gonna tell anybody to put them in there. And I was not in on the meeting when they got denied, because I worked in the kitchen, finances, only food, had to do with me, not the money part. But you know, those 3 people are from this community. They had family in there, had paid privately for their family for years, and now we're saying, nope, you wander, we're not gonna take you. We have wander guards. I think you got people in there now that are dictators. Nope, I don't wanna deal with that, I don't wanna do this. Why do you think they live there? They live there because they can't live alone anymore. They might hit you, they don't mean to, but that's where their brain is at right now. I mean, I don't know, I'm just sad. I'm very, very sad. Cause we had people work there for 25 years, lots of them. And the villa at that time gave them parties, appreciated them, sent to their families, had them come in, have a big to-do. We haven't done that in probably 20 years. The villa has not thanked the employees for caring and giving. So part of that is the facility's fault too. You have to appreciate your workers along with your residents. I mean, it's like I couldn't be a teacher, but I can live with older people because they can't help it. They can't help the way they are. They wouldn't be that way if they were younger. I'm just sad. I am really sad because it was a big benefit for this community. It was a huge, huge benefit. Employment-wise, resident-wise, it's just sad.
You're not gonna close it, Vicky, you know that, right?
Huh?
We're not closing it.
I know, but I'm telling you right now, when you sell it to a private corporation, you might as well just burn it down.
These people, we've been around, we've been down the block.
Oh, I know, and it's not necessarily your fault.
With bad companies.
It's people on this board for the last 50 years that have ignored it, have ignored the villa.
It's been a very challenging business for the city to be in, and we've all had that discussion too, that this city simply, we don't feel needs to be in business at all, and that's all the businesses that the city's in. But of the businesses that we're in, the rest home is one of the most challenging, and there's a lot there. It's a very specialized industry, and in the last 10 to 15 years, it's only become increasingly harder and more challenging to maintain in ways that we don't have the capacity or the capability to do so, the way those individuals and those families in our community deserve for them to have. So at this point, we are faced with a very hard and what can feel like a sad decision. But I will tell you from my seat and my perspective, I feel much better about the opportunity for it to survive and for the opportunity for those individuals that do have jobs at the villa to keep jobs at the villa and not have to leave this town to go find another job. the opportunity for us to still have a facility local for us to take our residents to or our family members to, and that won't go away. There's a lot of things that are great about a sale. It's the opportunity for the city to thin down our responsibilities so we can focus more on the things that we need to focus on. And as tight as our budget is, that's gonna be very, very important in the near future so that we can get better at what we need to be better at. And if that means not losing the villa in the meantime, it's a sad and hard decision, but I'm okay with taking the brunt of making that decision if it means we get to keep it. Because losing it is gonna cost a lot more than what we owe right now, and we owe plenty.
If we go down that path and we decide to retain it, and we have to pay, and they're coming due, and we have to pay all these outstanding bills, it will break this city. It will be defunct.
That's what I said.
I mean, it's been so badly mismanaged, and it is not due to this company. This company's actually showed a profit.
Well,
And they actually started to get away from bringing in traveling nurses. They've got people that are wanting to come in here and stay here and employ people here. They're bringing people in. So I don't know about the personnel issues, I really don't, but from what I see from the ledgers and what they're doing as far as investing in our community, I am encouraged. And if the city stays where we're at, doing what we're doing, our little, what we're digging out is not gonna get us in time out of this hole.
yeah, like I said, because the city and the board, people on the board all these years ignored it.
That's fine, but we have to deal with what
I
is
know
here
you
now.
do, I'm just giving you my opinion, and I know financially it's sad. And
It's
it
not
is,
sad, it's scary.
it is, because I'm telling you right now, if you put somebody in up there, you need to visit. And I'm telling everybody, before, we used to get people from California and their kids would come once a year, never worried about them. I'm telling you right now, you put your family in a nursing home nowadays, you need to check on them. Because people are not like they used to be. They don't care. And when you go to a corporation like that, it's gonna get worse because they don't care about their employees. They don't care about benefits. They don't care about any of that. They just wanna make money, and that's what their plan is.
Thank you for your share. Did we have anybody else that would like to
Yeah,
add to that?
I would like to ask why you haven't had any discussions with our board
On,
this.
we've discussed everything, we're behind on this is really, I
You
mean, we've
haven't-
talked
you
about
haven't
this
came
being the
to
only
our-
option.
You haven't came to our board and sat down and discussed all of this with us. We haven't seen you for 2 years.
And
Exactly.
that's a
And-
lie,
and when
because
you-
we all
No,
had to
no,
meet
no,
to make the
because
contract
you-
happen last June.
Yep,
So that
was
is
last
a year.
And now the contract expired, we didn't even get a notice to try to renegotiate.
Correct.
And I've heard all sorts of wild rumors around town because, and then you have, on one of your meetings, you say approval of an appraisal, you wouldn't even say the Ponderosa Villa. We found out kind of by.
We had to have it, we had it listed as approval of,
No,
or
it didn't.
appraisal of the
No, it
Ponderosa
didn't.
Villa.
It didn't, it just said approval, disapproval, you know, typical, of an appraisal, there was no discussion. Somebody made a motion, somebody seconded it, passed, and no discussion of what facility it was. What I'm asking is, we are set by state statute as a board. What I'm requesting is communication between the council and our board. It's probably gonna be a good thing to sell. I'm not real hip on private owned nursing homes like Crestview, quote unquote, because Hay Springs has done well, it's a municipal outfit. But they've been able to retain an administrator, and administrators are scarce as hens to keep, especially good. And we had an extra one, and things went south with her because of the councilman, none of you, somebody else. And from that point down, we went downhill, and then that's why, instead of trying to recruit a nurse, they went and got pool. Well, we were all set here 2 or 3 years ago, all of a sudden, the first month, we're 100,000 in debt. And the next month, it was more, it's like, what the hell's gonna happen? So it's come on in like maybe 3 years, is all. we were okay for that. But what I'm asking you to do is come and discuss this with us.
I think that's a fair request, I do. I would love to say the same, because as of, you said it's been coming on for 3 years, and we really only got notification maybe 18 months ago, because that's when I originally started looking for contacts to bring Cascades in. So, it's not been a fluid, it's not been a fluid setup. I think that's fair to say. It's not been a fluid setup, and I don't think it's been effective either way. And I think that's an even more important thing to remind ourselves that the city's, it's just not something we're good at. We're not good at owning that facility. We're not good at maintaining that facility. We're not good at knowing what it deserves, or how to best function it and how to best run it. None of us are medical professionals.
You don't have to be in medical.
At this point, I do believe that that we don't have enough of what we need to have, because it's been proven in the last 3 years that we can't get it to stop. It is hemorrhaging, and we cannot get it to stop.
Well, but anyway, I think probably selling is our only option. I don't like to see that, because I know the care level does decrease when it's privately owned, and I hope that doesn't happen.
I do think that that's a fairly dated statement. I think if you did some
Well,
up to date,
And
and I get that, and that's what we're familiar with because it's local to us. But I think if you did some serious research, that you'd find that that's an outdated statistic. That more and more are becoming what we have, or what we're going to, and that they're not nearly to what they're reporting.
You made a great point, though. You said one councilman upset the apple cart. So we are in a revolving state. There isn't any one councilman that's been on here for longer than 4 years. So you're always gonna get somebody that's gonna look at this as different, and like April says, the city should not be in the business of running a business.
A lot of them are.
Not the city.
But that doesn't make it right.
But they're successful.
They should not, but we're not. We have it on paper, we are not.
Our problem is to get a excellent administrator. That's been the issue. In this part of the state, we're so isolated.
How long have we tried to do this?
But that might have been something that was achievable over 10 years
I'm
ago.
not.
But the landscape has
we
changed so
don't-
drastically in the last 10 years.
That's in the
That's
past.
not enough now. It's simply not enough.
Everybody's making good points. There's no decision being made tonight.
Correct.
Certainly, we can have a meeting, a joint meeting.
We have a meeting tomorrow night.
Well, we haven't advertised to be at your meeting.
Right.
So,
We have a meeting tomorrow night. We have a meeting.
but you don't have an agenda item that we deal with.
Correct.
There's no decision. The problem right now, and I hear what you're saying as well.
What?
The administrative thing has been a problem for more than 3 years.
Mhm.
It's been a problem for quite a few more years than that.
Mhm.
The other problem has been, in my opinion, the federal involvement in nursing homes
Yes.
has made it almost impossible for a municipality, and Hay Springs may be an outlier, but I can tell you of 40 other nursing homes in western Nebraska that are either not municipal anymore. Bridgeport, Hemingford, Mitchell's got problems right now. Because it's not their, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just telling you, it's a hard business for a municipal entity with 2 boards and all the things that have to go on with the municipal enterprise to operate an efficient operation.
Well, there have been hundreds of them closed in eastern Nebraska. Nursing homes completely closed.
The largest owner of nursing homes, and you and I've talked about this, Mr. Better, got rid of almost all of them because of the regulations the federal government has set
They're not.
to get paid.
Well, and that's what Crawford should have been, the city of Crawford should have been in on that whole thing and realized that was happening, but they weren't.
But the reality is, and they were more aware than you think.
What are you gonna do different?
But the problem was, as Raylene stated, there was no unicorn administrator out there that wanted to come to Crawford and get paid what they could get paid here to run this nursing home. Okay, that's just a fact.
Oh, they're 115,000.
That's just a fact. So through this, we've tried different things, and I won't throw either of the boards under the bus. They've tried different things. Most of them haven't worked. The reality is right now, and I'm just gonna be frank, either we try to figure this out with this firm, because there's nobody else interested that I know of. You never know, we gotta go through the public sales process, or it closes.
Well,
And I don't think that that's what anybody wants in the city, or the city of Crawford.
okay, but you also have to realize that nursing homes they are buying up, this one company like Better did years ago, they're gonna eventually have to close some of them or resell. Because Hemingford's not full and they wanna buy it. Bridgeport, they got bought, it's not full. We're not
purchased.
full.
And I
So-
can't look at a glass wall and say that this is the ideal fit
Mhm.
going forward. Can't do it, nobody in this room can. I'm not even sure they can. What they're doing is taking the numbers from their operations and projecting it into a business plan that maybe that they can make work. What I do know, without a crystal ball, is if we don't look at this from the financial standpoint, it will close. And I can't say it any stronger than that.
We can't afford for it to close either.
And
With
we
the
need
amount
it.
of debt
City
that
needs
it's
it.
carrying,
We need
the
it.
city will take decades to pay it off,
Well,
decades.
and not only that, you're
Decades.
gonna lose a lot of renters and homeowners.
Right, cause if people don't have that job anymore, they're gonna have to
They're
move
gonna
to
move
somewhere
to
where
where
they
they
can
are.
afford to. It would be mass exodus on many levels.
Have you guys, do you guys know any of the employees up there?
I do, I'm up there pretty often, and I volunteer a lot too.
Okay, before I retired, April, you were not up there.
I don't know when I'm retired.
I retired 2 years ago.
I wasn't up there before 2 years ago. I've been, a lot of what I've been is in the last 18 months. Cause I wasn't a liaison to that facility, and I didn't have the direct relation with that facility at that time. So that is accurate.
Yeah,
But in the
so
last 18 months,
it
I've been
doesn't,
familiar with it.
it
and I've
doesn't mean
put in the
anything
time.
to you. It does not. You're not from here.
That's not fair.
It is.
That is not
It is fair.
No, it's not. This, I'm gonna say what I need to say. This is what I know. The nursing home, industry is the most overregulated industry in the country, second only to nuclear power. Number two, in order to navigate through all that stuff, the overregulation, we would have to employ an entire room full of attorneys, which we can't afford. Number three, the debt on the facility scares the crap out of me.
Why don't you make it, tell us what that debt is. Maybe that'll help us.
$1 million.
Okay.
It's over
It's
Just to
expensive.
make it, I mean, I know
It's
it's a lot.
well over $1 million.
It's over $1 million.
Maybe that will be enough that,
That if,
it's
and
like
if
I
the,
said before, I don't have a problem with it, Sal, I think that's the only way you can go out of debt.
if the facility closes, the city has to take on that debt. The city cannot afford to take on that debt.
Also too, closing a facility like that is
Oh.
very costly. You have to
It'll
be able to
cost us.
provide care for a certain amount of time and guarantee that you're gonna have a mass exodus of employees. It's a costly thing to also close, so our debt wouldn't stop at
No.
one point
There's
whatever.
no space to put people,
And,
Right, it would
because we're
compound it.
right at 30 people in there.
and number four, I can't live in the past of past council sins, past board sins, all that stuff. All I can do is live in the here and now, and the here and now says we have no choice. But if there is a offer that is acceptable, that pays off the debt, I don't think we have a choice but
It
to
keeps
accept it.
operating, it keeps it operating.
Yes,
Yeah,
We
that's-
don't close it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, we don't close it. No, I think it's probably our only option,
It is at this point.
Uh,
There is.
unless some miracle happens, we'll
Yeah.
get a lottery ticket.
Yeah, there you go.
that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Diane, did you have any other discussion on that? Brian,
No, I think we said all we could say, I think, unless somebody else has.
did anyone else need to share anything or have any questions?
It's a sentimental thing. You know,
It is.
Understandably, yes.
I've had my grandparents and my parents were in there, so I understand them
Oh, yeah, I've had my granddad in there, he was one of the first ones that ever
It
went
was
in.
a great
He was
home.
in 10 years,
It was a great
Mom
home.
was in there,
So this is not
and I've
ideal,
been on the board forever.
but if we don't do something, we're gonna lose it. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, at that, we will close 19, and we will move on to 20, discuss, approve, disapprove the treasurer's report, please.
Are you gonna have one available to publish in paper? Are you supposed to publish it?
Treasurer's reports, only
Yeah.
semi-annual and annual,
So we can,
but you can always get a copy. There should
Okay.
be. I have to go back to doing some of this. Okay, so I don't know if anybody had any questions, when you add up general for public transportation, those governmental funds, we were down to only a negative $4,738.85.
That is awesome. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Where's that number at? I wanna see that
Page
number.
1.
Page one.
Wow. And remind everybody where we started.
yeah.
Gosh, it was.
Well, just at the top of that line, it, just from the top of where it was calculated on this page, it was 166,331.30.
That's-
80,
Yeah, that's.
38 cents, sorry. I was trying to make an extra decimal there.
And you did sign a warrant for the quarterly transfer to move a lot of that 166,000 out of general into those other funds. It was gonna leave some, but I thought, well, we have another quarter to go, so we'll see how it works out in September. But yeah, that was really good news. I know this is a busy bill time of year, repairs, seasonals,
Well, we're gonna, yeah.
seasonal expenses and seasonal employees.
Got seasonal
But
business too.
hopefully, we'll stay on track there, so that was good news. Budget, got the full detail here for you. So you can just look at different line items, like when we looked up street, you can tell what they had left. And that's just the revenue and expenses for every department. And you can always call, as you study through it, even in the future, if you got a question, just give me a ring. Cash report shows you the balance of all the different checking accounts. I still need to clean up that difference in the general and the utility deposits accounts, but, it was an adjustment the auditor made at the end of last fiscal year. And, I explained to him what happened, and he said, well, just make it balance. But I gotta really study to see if I need to put it. What that difference is telling you is it's in the bank side, but not the general ledger side, or vice versa. So I almost got it done this time, but I wanted to be more comfortable. So I think by next time we'll have that fixed.
I have a question. Do we need to submit a nursing home budget? Cause we gotta get working on it.
Valid. I hope not.
I think our auditors this
But I
year,
don't know that,
it's been different with this new auditing firm, because before, we always had to have a budget.
Well, yeah,
To
they
include
didn't,
ours.
you didn't even include ours in the
And
city
this,
thing last year.
this
and I
auditor
thought-
says, no, we don't have to do that. So
So I don't even know if we're legal.
So what do you do with your budget if you don't, I mean, do you turn it in just as the
We
village
give it
to
to
the
you.
state or anything?
I was gonna say, we don't really
No.
include the village budget and the city's budget,
Well,
but
it
you
used to
guys,
be,
you
it
guys
used to
help,
be just a line item.
but you guys help the villa set their budget, and I would assume, I mean, the idea of all of this is that they stay open, and so that would be normal business for them, and I would
But
assume in
you-
that case, it still needs to be done
You
for
need
them.
it by, your hearing's in September, right? So we need it by August, which is next month,
You should work.
so we gotta put that on.
Cause they're gonna need it still on that side, I mean, you guys are still helping them function to the degree they need to function to, and that's gonna be necessary beyond us and them. So it's probably necessary.
Yeah, because it's gotta, we gotta prove it next week. Cause you'll have to have it that time to get it.
Right.
through the final.
just show you, I had to update a lot of numbers, but, yeah, it just kind of shows you, it should get you, it should be at the end, almost at the very end.
Okay.
3 pages from the end. Because years ago, I thought, yeah, we're always looking at expenses and how the budget is and where we're at, but we aren't really tracking revenue so much. So if our revenue's not keeping up, you can't just keep spending money as if it was. So. Come on, Diane, we'll get there. Unless she gave you that before. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so the first one is look at those bars in pairs, like it was last year and this year, last year and this year, you know? So you can kind of see we were good and then down and then a little ahead, and a little ahead, and a lot ahead, a little down, a little up, a little down, and then really down. But, sometimes there's freaky things that happen, but, and then the second little square is last year, where we were at this time, compared to where we are this year at this time. So that's looking, not scary, it's looking pretty good. And budgeted to actual revenue, which is also a good sign. So, it's just kind of a warning if things get out of shape the other direction. And then there's a review of the claims from last month. Hopefully, Jenny Nixon's not still here. I gave them a good analysis of the park, pool, community building, well, Kevin was there, to kind of help them understand the budget numbers and things like what we budgeted to get for a grant. If we didn't get the grant, you realize you can't spend money, that kind of thing, which I'll try to get caught up on these other departments too. I don't know, if you have any questions? I think moving that insurance that never got allocated correctly is what really helped with that 200 and some thousand in the hole.
Yeah.
And I'd asked the auditor about doing that, and he said, if I document everything, how I come up with the numbers, and he said, fine. And then I talked to him again, just to run this past him one more time, and he thought, well, there's probably a more proper way to do it, but I said, well, I can reverse what the entry, and he said, no, don't bother, so I guess, because it does increase the expenses in those other departments. But we had built so much in that we thought we were gonna get grants for the medical building or this and that, and so I don't think we're gonna exceed our spending authority, so I don't think it'll be a budget problem. We'll see what he says.
Thank you, Jane.
Yep.
Any questions, council?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Thank you, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Gaston. Roll call.
Dean?
Yes.
Gaston? Crum?
Yes.
I have a motion to approve bills, claims, requisition orders, and transfers.
So I do have a question. I did sign it, but the electric bill,
Yeah, I could look at
it's
that.
$5,000 for streetlights.
Oh, well, that was
That
very
is,
high.
that's gone from 1,500 a month.
Sorry, Archie. Okay.
You know, then you start asking, do we need that many streetlights?
Yes, we do.
I know we do.
Are you suggesting rolling blackouts for this large city?
Maybe if we,
Well, did they raise the rate?
Well, that's what makes me wonder if they didn't raise the rate.
You can find, you can look through that.
Okay.
And of course, the sewer plant is going to like 2,000 something. NPPD.
Oh, yeah.
sorry, but it's a valid question, it really is.
Should have been on top, because we were all.
I don't really expect them to.
listen,
It's like something's the day before. Yeah.
What was that before? Was it a battery?
Yeah. This is a really good head cap.
Oh, battery. Cause they had like one that had like 2 million packs. All I used was 4. I think they're
No, I don't think that would do.
ways I need a headlamp for.
Well, that's not what he walked right by it.
Oh, there's a game cap right there. And I left the game cap right here.
If I get placed in
Yeah.
I sent you two.
722 is the golf course.
He'll be back again.
All I can do is get a tree tomorrow.
Best thing you get is I'm gonna know where you're at.
Well, actually, he said.
April, when that company came over, that bookkeeper, business manager, or whatever he's like, he was up there going back with me, so I just like, and I said, we have to have this done next month, and he said, oh, what's that? I said, it's our budget. So they don't have it. I don't know how they do their stuff, but so I gave it a copy, and we have this figured out right now.
That's
So we got it.
That's the difference between private enterprise and
Yeah,
city.
it's a lot different.
They have a budget, but it's an internal budget.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not gonna share with us.
Probably not.
But he was going,
Not this time.
the look on his face is like,
Did you tell him to fish?
really quick.
And with the answer, would you like to approve?
Yeah.
Okay, would you wanna make a motion? Okay, do I have a second? Okay, roll call.
Dean,
yes.
Gaston,
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
Okay, number 22, executive session with personnel matters, please. I have a motion.
Motion to enter executive session.
Roll call.
Dean,
Yes.
Gaston, Ron.
Tucker, you wanna go with me?
At this time, I prefer to stay in open session because I have nothing to hide from the public.
So remain in open session at 8:05. Request per Dennis Coates. I'll let you start.
Okay. So let's see, last February of 2025, it was discussed about, fire hydrants and making sure that they were flushed and that they were all working. Where are we on that?
We gave a list of 6 fire hydrants that, well, I would say between 5 and 6 fire hydrants that we knew needed some repair. And we gave that to the council at that time. And we also discussed a plan to repair fire hydrants, but we also discussed that we needed extra help to get that work done. And we never received any extra help to get that work done, so that work did not get done.
Well, there was lots of people in this room that night, citizens of Crawford, that were very concerned that we had fire hydrants that not being flushed and not working. So why, it's in the job description, so why is it not being done?
Because we've not get any extra help to get it done.
Those job descriptions were built on the help that you have now, though. That was not built with additional help in mind. That is something that has been done as a standard
It has not been.
for decades.
I have been here and seen
We are
that
talking
has
about
not-
it because it hasn't been done.
Right, it
But
has
it has
not
been,
been done
it's
prior
been a
to me.
requested standard for decades.
Right.
That's not a new request, and that's not a new requirement of the position.
I maybe agree with that. But yes, we can make attempts, but again, there are other things higher on the priority list than that.
Well, I think it's pretty high priority because it does.
It is not state regulated, we are not governed by the state on how, when, how often, any of that kind of stuff. There are state statutes that we have to comply with and do that are required from the state that we have to do as opposed to that. So it's not.
But it's still part of your job description, which is your obligation to the city and what we ask you to complete,
And I've
which your job
given you
depends
a
on.
list of 6 of them that need replaced, and we have not seen funding or anything for those.
You have your budget. That is for you to work up and make happen with your job requirements and with what is in your budget. That is part of what encompasses your job as a whole. Not only as a water and sewer position, but also too as a supervisor, and then on top of that, as the water commissioner. So you have triple levels of responsibility to make all that happen, and we're not seeing that on any of the levels, Dennis. There's responsibility there with every single one of those levels that are not being delivered. And it is with that, the different levels of supervision, or that, because 2 of those are required supervisor positions, that falls under your responsibility to make it happen, to make a plan to make it happen, to then help execute, make it happen within the budget that you're afforded by the city. And that is reasonable for the board and the mayor to ask of those of you. Like that's what entails the job as a whole. That's not unique to you personally. That is something that whether it be you or anyone else in that position, that would be asked. Correct?
Probably.
If I may interject.
No,
I don't think so.
No, I know. We're talking to the supervisor.
So it does need done, and it does cause contaminants in the water supply in town. When it's deadheaded at that fire hydrant, that stuff builds up and it bleeds back into the system. You can look it up. So I want the fire hydrants flushed, every single one of them, and I want that list. I've never seen the list of inoperable fire hydrants, but every one of them that does not work needs to be marked, because the fire department needs to know when they pull up to a fire hydrant because the house is burning that, hey, this one doesn't work.
They only use the ones at the fire hall for the most part.
But you can't assume that. That's not fair for you to assume. And then nor is that your responsibility to assume, nor is that the city's liability to assume. That's not a fair
They're
assumption.
there for a reason. They're there for fire
flushing,
suppression.
Not for fire suppression. They're there for flushing for the most part.
What about when Shadron rolled up on that house that burnt down up there with their ladder
Yeah,
truck?
and they crushed our pipe, our lines, because our lines were not able to facilitate them pumping on them. And we had to repair main lines because they used a fire hydrant they shouldn't have used.
And why shouldn't they have used that fire hydrant?
Because their pump truck pulled so hard on the line that it crushed it. The line was old, it was deteriorated, it shouldn't have been used.
So it wasn't up to standard, and that should be something
That's
that would be
everything
noted.
in the city. Most of our main lines are not up to standard. We have old aging infrastructure that is not my fault.
So
There are two
I
10-year
understand what you're
plans
saying
from
by the
20
not
years
my
ago
fault,
or
but
10
let
years
me,
ago.
let me reiterate with you. You can say it, he can say it, I can say it, he can say it, she can say it. None of what any of us are sitting in did not already exist before any of us came along. So that's kind of a bullshit excuse. We all have our responsibilities, and if it's what we're currently responsible for, you need to be doing your best and your due diligence. It's not what's being done, Dennis.
There are 2 and 10-year plans that have been submitted to this council for the last 10 years that have not been looked at, that have not been dealt with.
This council
from
has
this
not been
council.
here for the last 10 years.
Right, but you are signed off on all those 2 and 10-year plans that you guys should be following as well and making sure they get done. We've submitted the plans to you guys to move forward on, and then we don't get the funding for it to actually do anything.
So are you saying that that's why you have the free time, is because nothing's been approved?
What free time?
I don't know, you
I
tell
don't
me.
have any free time from day-to-day activities. What makes you think I have free time?
What I hear from fellow employees.
I'd love to hear this from these fellow employees, but okay.
I also have concerns about shifts. And that I do think stems from you being a supervisor and that how you're setting stuff up to function. It needs, if it's functioning well for you, then that's fine. But I don't believe it's functioning well for the city from this standpoint. Would it be better for you guys to attempt to run shifts that are not so in line, but also overlap less, so that way we have less on call? I think there's a lot that's not being considered that you're not concerned about, and that there's a lot that you're doing on your own that you think you have only priority to do, and you don't have the authority to do it.
I guess I need a better example of what you're talking about, or what do you mean by shifts?
Most of what you guys work is side by side, but yet we still have on-calls that happen that we're paying overtime or on-call hours on.
We're probably side by side 30% of the time at most.
Right. But if we're facing budget cuts and whatnot, and you don't have the funding that you need to have other things fixed, why aren't we considering other options? Like, that is part of being a supervisor, is figuring out what you can adjust so that you can therefore do what you need to do in other areas, correct?
I guess.
So, what are you suggesting change so that you can change what you have available for your budget to work better for your department?
I'll have to look into that.
I'm gonna add to that though, Dennis. That's like today, and you were gracious enough to give me a tour of the lines and stuff, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, Edward was the one that did most of that. And you, it was yours as supervisor. When I went in, it took both of you to give me a tour. And it took an hour and a half of your time. I mean, it could have done just one person. So that, for me, was a red flag. If I'm an employer and you don't tell your employee where he needs to be doing while you're gonna be gone and delegate to him a job, you're wasting time. It's just a waste of time, because all I needed was from you. That should have been your spot to give me the tour, and I was taking time from you, I apologize, and I appreciate it. But as an employer, and your job, not an employer, but a manager, your position should have been, okay, Edward, this needs to be done, or this needs to be done. He didn't need to be there to explain to me, it should have been your job.
Right, and I could have done that. I thought it would be better for you to hear both sides of it, because there are things that I may forget or miss, or
That is your
don't see
job.
as important
That
to
is,
tell you or to.
that's 100% your job.
Right.
Okay. The other thing I have an issue with is you said something about having a cat in there. No,
There shouldn't be any animals.
no animals. That's you contaminate that area. No.
But even the part that bothers me the most and the part that blows my mind is that has to even be mentioned. You're adults.
Well, that's.
And it's in the policy. I mean, that's not anything that you should have to have a supervisor following you around and asking you not to do the things you're not supposed to do. And that's the part that I feel directly offended by. The position as mayor, and I don't need your sympathy, that's not what I'm asking for. It's an ever-changing position. You never have the same boss. I get that. You're constantly gonna see changes. That should not be the basis of how you do your job. You should have a standard that you expect from yourself in order to do your job successfully. And that's not how you run it, and that's disappointing. Because you seem to run it on a way of what can I get caught with and what can I not get caught with. And I don't have the time to babysit you. I don't have the time to monitor you, nor do I have the background to know what you need to be doing. And that is extremely disappointing from my perspective, because I don't have the time to do it either. And more often than not, when I've needed to write you up, I haven't had the time to even do that. So then you're not written up. And that becomes even more frustrating because I have even less of a lack of trust in what you have going on. That overall is extremely concerning. You should be able to maintain the trust of whoever you're working under, whether it be me or the next mayor or whoever under council, because you're confident in what you're doing, you're confident in what you're reporting, you're accurate in what you're doing. If you can't get it done, you have a game plan of how to make it happen. That's not anything that should come from us. That should not be a request that you have a council member asking of you. That is you taking pride in your job and doing it accurately and doing it in a way that you've been paid very well to do. You've been paid, and it's been mentioned that you got the extra supervisor position under Tom. Again, every mayor is gonna give different direction and different setup and whatnot. But to say that, it's only a title and it was only raised, but it's not any, necessarily extra requirements or whatever is not accurate either. I mean, you have to take a certain level of personal responsibility to make sure you're taking care of what you need to be taken care of.
I guess I feel like I have now, to a pretty darn good extent. There's been so much added to my plate.
It's just the less. I mean, if you look at that job as a whole over the last 10 to 15 years, you're not reading meters manually or walking down the street with a truck or whatever, however it used to be done. No, you get to drive and it's all digital now. And you only have to check a few when it comes down to the meter not reading correctly. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've put in place over the last 10 years that continually make your job easier, but somehow you continually say how much harder it is and you have less time and you can't do, everything is, I can do less, I can do less, I can do less. I can't afford it, we don't have any money, I have to do less. You're not providing any answers. And that's what we need from you. If you were going to keep the supervisor positions, both of them, then you need to have the initiative behind both of them and the responsibility behind both of them. That's what sucks about that. And we all sat at that meeting when we had K-State or whatever, the Kansas, whatever that came into that presentation. What sucks is it's your responsibility to make that stuff happen at our name and liability. If something happens, it's us that get the problem, which really sucks, especially when we don't have the knowledge or the know-how. And right now it makes me feel vulnerable that you don't care enough that it's not your name on the line, because that's how it feels and that's offensive. And if that's what you're conveying, then that's not good. And I don't know that you're trying to do it intentionally, but know and be aware of it so that you can do better and be better, and we don't have to question what we're being told. And that's, I guess, the overall that I have to say, is I want to be able to trust the things, and at this time I don't. And I would appreciate it if I could.
I find that funny because I feel like I'm the only one that does care.
Then I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see the result of it, because there's been time and time that we have asked for more things and we're not seeing answers, we're seeing more excuses, or I don't have the money, I don't have the budget. You're the only one that can give us that answer. You're the only one with that level. You're the only one with that responsibility. You're the only one with that title. We can't go to the Parks Department and ask them to do it. That's not how it goes. They're not allowed in there. That's not their responsibility. That's not their training. I can't ask Dean to have an extra minute to go do it because he doesn't know anything about it either. There's a reason why you're there, and there's a reason why you get paid what you get paid, and there's a reason why you have those responsibilities with that title. It is your obligation, and it should be.
Can I ask why we had Chatter come in and fix this line on Main Street over during the fire?
Because we were out dealing with the SCADA upgrade at that time, as well as making sure that we had plenty of water in the water tanks, because nothing is running in manual or in automatic right now. It's all manually operated.
And that should be fixed. I mean, that was fixed when Zeta last came, correct?
No.
That was what I was told, is that was all fixed and back to automation.
No.
The last trip they came, you guys said that it was fixed at automation.
No, the automation from the gallery talking to the plant itself is still not running on automation fully.
It should not be anything I have to question, Dennis. How is it that that can't be clear?
I
You
was.
said it was on
No.
automation.
No, the gallery talking to the plant is on automation, and the aerator itself running on
So where's-
automation, but the plant
Those
is
are
not running
questions
on
I
automation.
asked beforehand, that when they, even though we didn't have
We clearly
the
told
one
you
that was for the South Well, that we would still be on automation enough to be cleared with the state. So you're saying with partial automation, we're cleared with the state?
No.
I wouldn't think so. I would think it'd need to be full automation to be cleared with the state. Dennis, I'm not that stupid that I could be that misunderstood of you saying that it's either partial or full.
And initially, we were thinking we would be full, but with the fire activities, we did not get what we wanted or needed to get done with those guys when they were here.
If from what we discussed was too early in the week for that not to change, then an update is appropriate. But again, that should be something that I shouldn't have to tell an employee, that I need you to keep me updated so that way I can keep council updated and we know what's going on. I don't need to be consistently begging for that. That should be something that is a guarantee from a professional adult holding a professional job.
Especially as management, 100%.
Multiple levels of management.
That is your job. I agree with that.
You're one of the highest paid, you are the highest paid employee of the city.
It's just like all the licenses.
Apparently that's it, because it's not that's not the highest level of work I get out of the city. And that's disappointing, because we should be getting our money's worth. My overall request is we need more. We need it to be effective. And we need it to be what should be the standard. Because this does not feel like the standard. And that's the part that sucks, is you want to have specifics, but I don't know enough about your job to give you the specifics. But I can tell you, by knowing is the least amount that I know it's not enough still. Even with the little amount that I know, it's still not all of it. It's still not all of what needs to be done. That shouldn't be clear.
I think my view on that is, we pay two of you to do the job that one man held for years. And Gene wasn't the ideal employee by no means, but he was able to do all the meters and could carry all this stuff, and him and Tim took good care of everything. And we have played two of you, and we're not sure that we're getting the bang for our buck. It seems like, I think, talking to them, you find more ways of going around it than you do actually tackling it and addressing the hard issues. And then also divide and conquer, use your time, and that is on you. That's 100% your spot. I can't tell you how to do your job because I don't even know your job. What you showed me, I learned a lot today. So there are issues that you showed me that we have got to address as a city council. We cannot be putting them off anymore. But you have got to come up with a plan for us to figure out and show us. I haven't been to any of these meetings, so I expect that when we come into this next budget meeting, that you're gonna address all that stuff, and you're gonna have a financial plan that we can tackle, and we don't come in here with $20,000 or $30,000. Let's get ahead of the game as much as we can. Those burp valves that you guys showed me, they have got to be addressed. That's crazy. That broke one down there on the South Well, that needs to be addressed. So, you have legitimate issues that we need to address, but you've got parts that are sitting around that have not been put in. And I understand we've had catastrophes, we've had problems, I get that. But there again, that's management. That comes on your shoulders. So, either you need to be talking to the mayor so she can let us know, say, hey, this is what we're planning on doing this activities. Something happens, okay, but you have got to communicate. If you're not communicating and explaining, then you're not doing your job.
And I've offered many ways to accept that communication, whether it be phone calls, text messages, emails, please send reports, let me know what's going on. And it'll be good for 2-3 weeks, and then it's nothing for a long time. And then it's, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. It has to be part of your job. I get the being too busy. I've done jobs like that before. Let me tell you how fun it is to do a job I'm too busy to accurately do. I don't do enough as mayor. but I also don't make a fraction of what you make.
This is the most feedback I've gotten since probably my last official report in my file from 2019.
That's good.
No, it's
I've
not.
met
I
with
get
you.
no
You're
feedback. I get
getting feedback.
zero
You're
feedback.
getting
That's what I'm
feedback.
saying. I'm at.
I've met
get
with
it.
you
That's
multiple
what I'm
times
saying.
down at City Hall. But you know, I will start something, I'll ask for more, and it works for a little bit, and then it completely drops off.
Right,
And then I have to
I
initiate
send
it
you
again.
stuff and I hear nothing back. I get nothing back from you.
Right. The idea is, you're providing information to me.
So I don't even know if you're looking at it. You're telling me, yeah, that looks great. Keep doing that. It's
I'm
nothing.
sending
It's-
that information to them so that we all know and stay informed. That's a one-way street. Do you want me to tell you that I've received the email? Is that what I'm needing to say back?
You need to give me at least a little bit of direction. Besides a
I
nice
can't give
idea.
you direction on a job that only you know. I do not know how to run the water plant, nor is that expected of the mayor to
I'm not
understand how.
expecting you
So
to
I
run
cannot
the
give
water
you
plant.
direction on an email of what you're telling me you're doing
Right.
and to know what you need to do better. I don't know your job
You
like
can look at
that.
and say,
And nor
yes,
is
this
any
great
mayor gonna know
information,
your
thank
job
you,
like
I'm gonna
that.
pass it on to so-and-so.
I think that's.
I have these questions, I'm
That's
concerned about
legit.
this. I should get something back. I
Yeah.
get zero back from you.
I think that's legit.
I've responded to some of your, I mean, I haven't responded to all of them, but I've responded to some. I
It's
mean,
very little at most.
it's been a long time since I've got any, so I've not had the opportunity. I look forward to the opportunity, Dennis.
Did you guys change the locks on the water treatment facility?
Front door is a little bit different.
It's either
Who-
different or it's not different. It
And
can be a
who
little bit
authorized you to do that?
The door handle and lock on the front of the building
Mm-hmm.
broke. And so we took a door handle from inside the building and replaced it with the one on the outside of the building. Otherwise, the rest of the doors are the same lock.
So is it keyed the same?
Not
Still
the
same?
main door, but every other door into the building is.
So is there a master key at City Hall?
No.
That needs to be, Aaron's opens at 7:30.
The key itself
that master
explicitly
key.
states on it, do not replicate. We
All of our city
attempted
keys do that.
we attempted to give a copy and we were unsuccessful. We will try again.
That needs to be turned in to the clerk.
But the other two doors to get in the building are keyed to the original key to the building. So you can still get in the building if you have the old key.
The key needs to be at City Hall. Did you confiscate the fire hose from the Crawford Livestock Market?
Yes, we
That
confiscated.
needs to be returned to them
no.
tomorrow.
No.
Tomorrow,
If
that
they-
is
if
their
they pay the
property.
$500 fee,
That
they
is
will get their
not-
stuff back.
That
But
does
until
not
they pay the
belong to the city,
$500
and
fee-
we do not steal from our businesses.
We did not steal.
And you have made yourself unwelcome at Crawford Livestock Market, so you need to figure out how you're gonna return that fire hose to them because that is their property.
If they pay the
We were
$500
notified
fine.
by letter and their attorneys that no one is to go and have anything to do with them. And if there's a problem, you are notified the mayor and it will be taken care of. You guys were shared that information
At that
when
time
you were
we did.
served that. That stands from now on, not as long as you want it to. So why would you think that's
We
appropriate?
didn't take anything since then. We took that initially when we had the problem with them, and we told them that when they pay the fine that is in our ordinances, that they would get their property back. And they have not paid that fine, and you guys have not held them to that fine. But it
I
is
was unaware that
clearly
you
in
took anything
the
from them.
ordinance. We told them when we walked in and said, hey, we picked up the stuff, cause it's not supposed to be there, and until you pay your fine, you're not
But
getting it back.
again, you just said it, you told them. How is it that we get a letter from their attorney and everything, and that is not something
I
that you
come into
disclosed
City
to
Hall
us?
and made that
When
clear
we
to the
disclosed to
ladies in City
you
Hall at
that
that
we've been
time.
served by their attorney and everything needs to be done. You didn't mention anything of having their supplies.
I told that to the
That's
ladies
not
at City Hall.
okay,
I
Dennis.
told that to the ladies at City Hall.
That's not their responsibility.
It needs to be returned to them.
Then you guys need to enforce the fine.
Did you cite them?
Yes.
Did I get the citation? Cause it didn't go to court.
We don't get a second, okay, we don't have a thing that's, like, we
Yes.
told,
Cause fines are set by judges, not by us.
it's in our ordinances, you guys gotta
I think it
enforce
says
it.
up to a $500 fine, doesn't it?
No, it says a minimum of $500 fine, with tampering with,
Okay,
with
fair enough,
the
but
water,
it's still
city
gotta go,
water.
it's still gotta go to a judge. It's still gotta be a case, okay? I'm just telling you. I don't know the circumstances, I don't know about the hose, know nothing about it, tell right now.
That's the first time I've ever heard about those.
I know there was a problem, that's what I did know.
We got written up by the state because they were stealing water. And it caused a potential
But-
backflow issue. And that's why we were not
Fair
allowed
enough,
to give out.
but, and I'm
bulk water
staying, I'm
for
not staying out of this, I wanna get to the bottom of this issue. There's two things, Dennis. We can cite them for their failure and take them to court and try to get the fine. That doesn't mean we can keep the hose until they pay the fine. They're two different things, okay? We can go through the process, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, what we need to do or can do, okay? But that doesn't mean we can hold people's property hostage until they pay the fine. You follow what I'm saying there? So, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have ramifications of their actions, not saying that at all, wouldn't begin to. What I'm saying is, you can't distrain property and hold it over here until they pay a fine over here. It's kinda like, well, distraint's just not legal, I mean, it's like renters, you can't take, they haven't paid the rent, you can't go into their house and take their personal property until they pay you. That's illegal, okay? So what I'm saying is, we can go down the road, figure out if there's something we need to do here, legal means, fair. But we can't hold their hose as a way to get them to pay the fine. That's just not how it works. So, that's all I'll say about that. We can talk about the actions necessary or what they need to be. I'll have to look at the ordinance and see what's going on. We'll do that, not a problem. But we can't hold the hose as a way to get them to pay their fine. Okay, they're different things. That's all I guess I have to say about it.
I can agree with that.
And the last thing I have to say is, I have a lot of complaints that, the citizens are not being taken care of. It's your job to make sure that every time there's a turn on or a shut off, that you guys are handling it. It's not anybody else's job.
We handle it,
And it has to be in a timely manner. And
yes, in a timely manner.
these are
They
our
have to
customers.
give us 24 hours notice for us to be able to fit it in our day to schedule it, to go do it. Most of the time is, hey, we need you to shut this off today. And it's like, no, we've got other stuff going on, we'll get to it tomorrow. But if you don't give us 24-hour notice, it's kind of hard to get something dropped in the hat when we got other stuff more important going on.
Did you get Gary Geddert taken care of?
What address?
What's at the corner of 3rd and Rita's house? Right across the street from you, what street do you live on? Coates? Big white house?
I believe we shut that off.
No, he had a leak. And he told me, this is 4 months ago, that somebody came and said, yeah, there's a problem at the meter pit.
Shut off the meter pit, yeah.
And they have like 0 water pressure in that house. Has that been taken, what I'm saying is that been taken care of?
I think it was like a month ago at Lowe's, and we went and saw it, discussed it with him, told him we'll try and get to it when we can get to it, but as of right now, we haven't had time.
No, he told me this in May, and he said that
I'll look at my
that
records,
it
but I
had
really
been
don't think it's
a
been that
month
long.
since he had talked to you. When he talked
I
to me.
will look at my records, but I don't believe it's been that long.
Okay, customers are first and foremost. They have to be taken care of. Have to be. That's all I got. Unless you wanna discuss the storm sewer vaults.
I believe those are more under Tim's purview.
Actually, according to this, no, all piping is under your purview. And the storm sewer vaults are full of dirt, and you have the back.
Tim and I went and sucked out a bunch of those last fall. We spent a day doing that.
I think it's probably partially why Second Street was flooded the other day, because the vaults are full of dirt and debris.
I guess I didn't see how much Second Street got flooded, but I do know that we cleaned them out last fall. We took a day and did a lot of that.
Okay.
But
well,
that has never been done in the 8+ years that I've been here. Project that
But
time.
we bought you a $40,000 machine that can do that.
Right, but it's not specifically meant for that,
Dennis.
and we are using it to our best abilities.
They need cleaned out. I know the one in front of my house
I'll
is
put it on my
completely
list.
full,
I'll put it on my list.
and I'm not saying that the one in front of my house should be first on the list. I'm just saying that I do notice these things when I drive around town, and this is the job. And you have a really nice machine that can suck all the dirt out of them. So we don't have the lines being plugged up.
Yeah, I've seen several citizens out there screaming about themselves, they shouldn't have to do that.
No.
It's not their job. Yeah. Anything else? We can move on to
Exit
exit the executive.
from, do I have a second?
Yes.
Dean, roll call. From,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Exit at 8:30 PM. Motion for adjournment, Dean, do I have a second? Thank you, From. So you made it first to adjourn?
Yes.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Yes.